Welcome everyone. This is Evelyn and it's 1:51 on the clock. We have the 1 of the Magician, the 51 of the King of Swords, and let's see what kind of magic we have. That could be a Gemini King of Swords as well. Or that can reference twin energy. So I have lots of really important, cool information to bring you today. I have 4 of my channeled messages and the mini twin flame read on the deck. There's only on the table rather. Usually this is my 7-deck read, but I just have 3 decks today. I've been battling a bit of a cold this week, which I'm definitely feeling much better. And I haven't been sick for like 7 or 8 years, so it's the first time I've had something like this in a long, long time. And there's definitely a clearing coming up. As I brought to you last time I was talking to you, the lungs were coming up, and leprosy came up today, and I actually had seen my leprosy life in the beginning of my twin flame journey with my twin. So there's definitely stuff coming up around the lungs, that the lungs are the breath of God, so to speak, and to look to the bottom of your lungs, to the base of your lungs for your union was a message that came up last time as well. So let's go ahead and take a few deep breaths first before we get started. Take a deep breath. One of the techniques that I saw today, and I'll give you the doctor's name, was to take 2 breaths in and then a long breath out if you want to let go of stress, as opposed to the 1 breath in. Because when you take the deep breath in, it expands the space for your heart so it can actually beat faster. So when you want to slow it down, you breathe in twice and then a very long breath out to slow everything down. It compresses the space around your heart so it can't beat as strong. That was Dr. Huberman, I think. And there's actually 2 videos from different channels that came up for him today. One was like getting to the specifics of stress in general and laziness, and how dopamine and epinephrine and all those kind of different things work together and create different scenarios. And the other one was more about the breathing techniques to actually de-stress yourself or to speed up, right? So if you want to wake up in the morning, you would take those deep breaths in and then let it out. Or if you want to slow down the heart, take 2 deep breaths in back to back, like in the same breath, and then a long breath out. So whatever you feel guided to. If you don't want to do this, you can skip right by it, but let's go ahead and take a few deep breaths. The 2 breaths in and long breath out is supposed to be a CO2 release. So another breath. One more deep breath. Really release all of it to the bottom of your lungs. Okay, so let's go ahead and roll the die. See what comes up for the twins, and then we'll get right into the 4 messages of the day. They're all profound in different ways. Really deep information is coming up here. So for the twins, and today is the 15th of March, so 3/15. Yesterday was Pi Day, and today is the Ides of March. And this also used to be a tax day. So Matthew could be coming up as well as the tax man. It's 1:55 on the clock right now, which is the 15 and the 5. Also the 1 and the 55, right? The magician's truth and the devil's commitment or freedom, change, expansion, the shadow, right? Bringing the 2 5s into the oneness. Lots of change, becoming aligned with a new beginning for the twin flames. Today's March 15th, 2023. All right, so we have the North Node here, which is in Taurus still until July 18th, I think. We have Aries, so the ram, right? That bold kind of butting heads energy of lighting that fire under your butt to get going. And then the 5 comes up again here. the midway point, the change, the expansion, the freedom, the Hierophant, which can be guidance, it can be societal norms, it can be commitment, marriage, all of those kind of things, but in a traditional human sense, as opposed to a different perspective from higher up, perhaps. And we do have the North Node in Taurus here, so following that energy of follow through, perhaps with a big push with the Aries here to change, right? So pivoting right here. I can't wait to get into the information today. It's very cool. So if you can't watch all of them, at least try to watch a couple of them. So there's 4 of these, excuse me, over the past 3 days plus today. So the 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th. Excuse me if I cough. I'm still getting over a cold. And yeah, let's get going here. So this first one was on the 12th. And just prior to that, and I'll show you the picture of it in a second, I was doing some scribing, and the messages coming up from that were interesting. So the Madagascar doghouse, so to speak, was coming up, and the glass house. The first the doghouse handle came up when I put it in online, as well as Doghouse Post Pro. Also to Madagascar, South Africa, to find out how the blue-eyed black lemurs deal with itchy bugs, which is interesting because the lemur came up in a different way when I was talking to my daughter about her dream last week. And the lemurs came up again, so it's like this is like the 3rd time the lemurs came up this week. And lemurs is also can be the sea, because M-U-R, M-E-R, M-A-R, all are defined by the sea. Madagascar Glass House, Cleveland Botanical Gardens came up with that as well. And at 11:44, which is alignment with justice, and 44 of Hercules in her harvest, or grounding, integrating, and mastering how to receive love. The energy of, so my daughter's puppy is Teddy Bear. You see him up front there. His name literally is Teddy Bear. I was getting this energy of Teddy Bear scared with his other, put in the doghouse by himself. Like, so he's put himself in the doghouse. And it's that same, like the dog's reflecting our energy, right? So he very much twins with the dog that lives behind us, which I've introduced you before. That's Annika. And he's only met with Annika once in person. Like, they see each other all the time through the fence, but they can't touch each other. You know, it's like the 2 twins. And when they run together, they mirror each other exactly. It's the coolest thing ever to watch. But there's this dog and wound coming up, as well as the sting and the scar. The sting and the ray were coming up together, which then brings up the sting ray. One is the wound, then is the sting, and then becomes the scar. And then lion came up too, from Lion King, and the process of healing. So that was coming up on the 12th. Yeah, and dog of pair, beyond what can be tolerated. So the radius of going beyond what can be tolerated, right, which is expanding past the scar. What else also came up here? Yeah, I was kind of wondering if anyone's also going to the annual World Congress on Illumination out in Tucson. You can comment below if you want to. Remember, it's not private information though, so yeah, curious about that. And so let's get into this first reading. So many cool messages here. All right, so let's see. All right, so we have, sorry, I try to keep my phone clean, but there's always something getting on it. Hold on, I just changed the picture. Where are we here? All right. So this is my first message of the day. And that top deck is the Starseed deck. Lots of cool images and kind of activation effects. The second deck is that LENORMAND KIPPER combined deck, so it's 2 decks in one. The third one is the Wild Unknown Animal Guidebook. It's more like the Oracle as opposed to the Tarot. And then the bottom is my half deck of Rider-Waite with just the characters involved. So this is the first one. I'm going to bring it up a little closer so you can see. For those of you not familiar, the left is the underlying energy. The right is a pile of cards to count. Sometimes they'll be spread out into pyramid form. And 3 cards are usually dealt from each deck. Okay? And that's for each one of my messages of the day. So those are all my channeled messages of the day. My read on the table here is specific for the twin flames. And most of the messages of the day will come through with very specific messages for everyone. And twin flames, you'll be guided to the messages that resonate with you. Excuse me. All right, so this one was done on the 12th. And I dealt this 1148 to 1150, which is the 48, 49, and 50 of walking away within, the 8 of Cups, 9 of Cups, and 10 of Cups. So ending the emotional cycle. Either a happy ending or emotional fulfillment there of the family comes through in walking away and within to find self-happiness, self-fulfillment, right? Peace within yourself before being able to find peace within a whole family. I count the piles at the end and put the numbers into gematria sometimes to get meanings, as you all know if you watch. The numbers that came up from the piles were 1123 and then 51510. So there's that double 51 that came up as the time at the beginning of this video, the King of Swords times 2. And the 1123 is referencing the 11 of alignment of this year, 23, which is the King of Wands, into the King of Swords times 2 with source supporting at the end. So Justice of the King of Wands, the King of Swords times 2, one leaps the King of Swords, Hierophant, freedom, and change, destined, with the magic hanging man and the Empress, the devil between the 5 and 10. And that can be between the 5 and diming as well. I was just getting diamond with that too. And I'm getting haggling there from the 5 and dime. So also all the words, this has been a theme for me this week too. The mens, the dens, the lens, and the sens, right? All the 3-letter words with the S on the end. So men, den, len, and sen with the S on the end, and their meanings. And I'll get to that later as they come up. But remember, mens is just people or humans in general. It's not men. It's both men and women. Dens is also the spindle, the point on the axis that goes through the atlas, right? That the place of support that you can still move while being supported at the same time. It's also considered the projection, the den inside, the tooth. And then the lens being lentil, or 2 arcs joined, a crystalline structure to film, shoot, and get thinner at the edges. Also, lens came up regarding focusing and defocusing light and electron beams. And also lens is considered a harpoon to kill whales with. And the whales came up all week as well as today as well. So I started at 1153, which is Justice alignment and the Knight of Swords 53, the Messenger of Truth, the Knight in Shining Armor, or perhaps just a delivery. The underlying energy of the 6 of the flower of feeling, the 22 of the official person, the crocodile, and then the devil. So the lovers, the family, or Gemini, or twins, awake and forgive with compassion. The official crocodile and the devil, or Aries and Cappy, laying in wait or waiting to be reprimanded or called out, grilled, questioned on the witness stand, or biting off their nose to spite their face, or just no sense of smell, like perhaps that's like me today, or official who could sense or feel it coming, or a sting happening or setup. So at 1158 is Justice of the 4 of Swords, which is the 5D connection for me, that meditation in the 5D, that connection or rest or taking a break, aligning with that rest, and perhaps getting you sick, right? To make you rest, to make you not do things, to conserve your energy. The 38 of the Queen of Cups in the cosmic calibrator for repatterning and guidance. The 74 of the Six of Pentacles with the diamonds planes of perception, number 2, of portals, possibilities, and options. The 66 as the geese went by at 11:59, right, the 11th hour, literally the minute before 12. The 66 is the Queen of Pentacles, but also the Golden Gate, the two spirals that come together in the rose heart. The Queen of Pentacles temple of elevated senses, of impeccability, of advancement and loftiness. And the 68 of the Page of Pentacles, and the temple of the moon goddess, of nature and grace, and also emotional transparency. The 6 of flowering of feeling, and then the first card out being 72. The 4 of Pentacles temple of celestial celestial revelations. Let me see what that says. Let's see if it's up. Yeah, celestial revelations. And with the truth, angelic assistance, salvation, and majesty. Yeah. And then the 42 of etheric reflection, the spiritualization of the mother, the reflected light. And the 52 of Andromeda Stargate, of invention, science, and those other kinds of pursuits. So at the end, the pile was 1 and 4 cards, like 4 were together and 1 was separate in the beginning. And this energy of 1 and 4 coming up as the 1 is the leap, so the colon, the 2 dots, and then the 4, which is like the man flying through the air, right? So if you take the 4 and you make each line a leap instead, it becomes the man, on the flying trapeze flying through the air. So we have this 1 and 4 cards, and then the 58, which is the 4 of Swords, where in the 4 of Swords, one sword is separate from the other 3. And the 5D connection in the chamber of communication, and the Liberty Bell came up here. Telepathic, declaration, and correspondence. The 3 and then DNA also coming up here, because guanine and cytosine for resolution, commitment, flexibility, and connection came up with the number 2 card of adenine and thymine, of duality, contrast, trust, and balance, all about parts of the DNA. At 12:07, the Hanging Man and the Chariot. The 78 then came up of the 10 of Pentacles with diamonds, planes, of perception, number 6, mastering, acceptance, and accountability there. And the 77 of the Sovereign of 9 of Pentacles, and the dimensional planes of perception, number 5, of spiritual strength, virtue, and valor. So the Lovers, 72, with the 4 of Pentacles, which is the Divine Masculine's heart in the SIRIAN Starseed deck, the main deck that you see on the table in front of you, the big cards, with the 2 of Cups and the Queen of Swords. And the 3 numbers came up in a row, 72, 42, and 52, so I was guided to the 745 and the 222, where the 7 is the boomerang to the 4 of the lambda leap, the L and the 1, the lamb to the father leap, to the 5, which is also the S, and the zigzag S, which then the 4 and the 1 are, it's like the 5, which is the 4 and the 1, or like ether is the 5th, but it's actually the all-encompassing of the 4 elements. So when it completes the 4th quarter, it becomes the 4 plus 1, becoming more than the collective, right? Becoming the collective parts of you. Excuse me, plus 4 elements becoming ether, the 4 and the 5, like the 8 and the 9 come together at the same time. I remind you of my 144 scale, where the 144 is the numbers 1 through 9. The 1 and then 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7, 8, 9, which is the 6, 8, 9 pod. Where we have the 26 in the beginning from the 2 sections, and then the 37, the 26 of the Page of Wands, the 37 of the King of Cups, then the 48 of the Eight of Cups walking away within, to the 59, which is the 11th hour, that war within, but also the 59 minutes before the 60. The leap to the Page of Wands, the new soul. The Page of Wands very much represents the seed, the new seed being planted. And the 37 of the King of Cups of unconditional love, but also of the 3 keys, or the 3 boomerangs. The 3 keys were coming up last week as the tree keys, or CHEZ keys, the home tree, right? The tree house, or the tree of life, or the 3 gamma waves. The tree equals the trill of energetic exchange, the thrill and the trill of energetic exchange, and the flip side of that. So the EE becomes the AE, which is the ash, and also together looks like a bow, right, tied up in a knot. The 48 is the Eight of Cups. Remember, the tree is also the T and the Re, and Re is a shaman. It's a Native American Indian tribe. But the T is coming up as the plus sign, not the cross. Like evening the score, the plus sign, not the cross. And this came up last time too, as the capital T was like one of those toys where the top flips off, right? Like a helicopter propeller flipping off the top. And then as it comes back onto the rod again, it falls down to the middle instead of the top or the 3/4 where the cross normally is. The 3 keys, or tree keys, as in Shay, which can also be said as keys. The tree keys, or the tree house, or the house of life, or tree of life, and the gamma waves, where the tree equals the thrill of the energetic exchange, the arrows of love, the 2 E's. And the flip side of that, of the 2 E's, the 2 lowercase e's becoming the AE, which is the Adam and Eve energy, arts and entertainment, etc. And the 48 of walking away within from old emotions, which is the Luna C. So here's another C, right? The 8 of Cups is 8C, and then we go to the Luna C, right? The moon with the C, which is the whispering bench, right? And you're considered crazy if you hear things that are not outside yourself. To the 59 of facing your fears in the war within, and the 25 coming up from, again, my 144 of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, where the 2, 3, 4, 5, the 3 is the key and the 7 is the key in the second pod. And then the 25 are the outer reflections, the bookends, where the 69 is the bookends in the second pod. From the perfume bottle or flask of the 25 that it makes to the 698 pod, a fluid ask to 2 peas in a pod, where then they both, if you smush them together, the 2-5 in block style and the 6-9 in block style, both come together as the 8, but one emphasizes the 3 parallel lines, which means equal and congruent to, and the other one outlines the step it takes to get there. That 8th, so to speak, turn into each other, right? Leaning instead of 90 degrees, right? Because if you turn a quarter, a square turning a quarter is still a square, but a square that turns an 8th is a diamond, as you two turn an 8th together instead. And again, the 11 coming up here as aligned as opposed to 2 corners facing each other, right? One angled northeast and one angling southwest. So from the front, equal and congruent to the step or the climb, to the back of alignment in order to quote, box, or parenthesize. Okay, put in the 2 C's, the C and the anti-C, right? The antithesis, the anti of the C's and the paren of the C's, which are parentheses. To give direction to what you see and don't see behind the scenes. The qualifying steps and the need to align, arrange steps, and what you need to do to balance, and then how to create that. So 58, 2, 3, 78, and 77 all came out together, which is really cool. And this was at 1243, the Hanging Man and the Coming Together to see new perspectives and joy. The 58 is the 5D connection. The 2 and the 3 is then this year of the King of Wands, but also the High Priestess and the Empress, or the Empress and her higher self, which is then the two twins, with the 78 and the 77, which is the ultimate heaven on earth for both the family and the single person. So the sleeping together here, where the High Priestess HP was also coming up as horsepower, Mr. Ed, sleeping together on rest or break in 5D connection, or horsepower, Mr. Ed, and Mrs. Nat, which is Mother Nature. So horsepower and Mother Nature are coming up together as Mr. Ed and Mrs. Nat. And remember, Nat is Nat King Cole and unforgettable. So he's Mr. ED, or extra dimensional, and she's unforgettable. It's really cute. Mr. Ed and Mrs. Ed, or Mr. Ed and Mrs. Nat, horsepower and Mother Nature to create heaven on earth and be sovereign at the same time. So I looked up Ed Nat together to see what would come up. And the closest thing that came up was lowercase e and then DNA as environmental DNA. And I eat. Edna also comes up as pleasure and delight and Eden. So there Eden comes up again. And there's Mr. Ed and Mrs. Nat in the Garden of Eden. So also nated came up, which is like perhaps being nutted, right? The nut that doesn't fall far from the tree. Being nutted or nated, or being made unforgettable, right? Becoming a legend, so to speak. Or leafed, right? You have to leave in order to be leafed. Somebody, and remember the nated is past tense. You were born. You arose in the past. You birthed, you aged, you grew in the past, and so it is. So be it. So be it comes up as so bait, as long as, or given that, so it is. So it in is a musical instrument, a player or to play. And soit, S-O-I-T, is okay, granted. Let it be, meaning, that is to say, to give, allow, permit, to sound, to play, phone, ring, toll, drive, ride, and travel along, to sound. So at 1 o'clock with double zeros backing up the 1 of the leap, or the divine masculine, the magician, the 15 of the 10 of wands and the devil, or the cold polar bear, or able to withstand the cold. Coming into, it's like the energy of the polar bear coming out of the water into the from the cold. They're able to withstand the cold. So it's like going in, like the guys go into the freezing cold ocean to see what they could see. Can I actually experience this and handle it? So it's like the devil or cold polar bear, or able to withstand the cold, coming onto the land or swimming as the 6 mature woman with the 15/6, these two cards coming up side by side, because 15 is a 6. It's part of love, family, and community. And losing circulation or home adjudication, or Capricorn pushed, loving, mature woman into court about house, or Capricorn battling for house or estate of family, or clearing house, or clearing out the house, or pushing self to clear out the house, having to make lots of decisions with the 7 of Cups and lots of synchronicities and things they love, perhaps is confusing in order to create freedom and change, the Hierophant or family, commitment or marriage, and the 4 of courtship or deciding to settle down and be courted, to be free or committed, or back and forth, where back is coming up as 5th and then 4th. Committed or back and forth. So the 4th being the 4th quarter and going back to the 5th, which is the accumulation of 1 through 4. To fall back to the 5th and come forth with the 30 of the home, or the Om of union, of the King of Swords with Cali lilies and glass houses, and the 11 and 777 of sudden wealth and full house, hitting the jackpot of the tree keys, or the house, the tree house, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, the 44 of her harvest, Hercules, and the magnification of details, of tales, of stories, or 2 with 4 stories, or 8 with 2. And the exclamation point, if you look closely, or 2 homes inside and outside, and taking a gamble on full house, where 11 and 777 become 44, her harvest, her cue to multiples, so grateful between soul and life lesson of 11 to 44, lining up from 4 to 7, 1, 7, 4, 7, 4, 7, and 1, which is the energy of, I'll have to show you the picture of how that came out. Right, so we have the 1, 7, 4, 7, 4, 7, 1 becomes 17 and 17 with the guy, the man from the flying trapeze, 2 of them, and there's the boomerang in the middle, okay? So 17 is the star and 71 is the 3 of Pentacles of co-creation. And here you have the 2 on the flying trapeze flying together at the same time with the boomerang effect, but that's also the shape of the ear and hearing the sound of the 2 flying at the same time between the dreams coming true and co-creation. The star and 2 leaping on the whispering bench, boomerang, to hear the directions. The midstream and the wind was really powerful today as it's coming up. The sound of the wind. Midstream on the flying trapeze. From dreams to co-creation, right, to making it a reality. From the star to the 3 of Pentacles. So 2 with dreams coming true, leaping in tandem, synchronized flyers to get to the other side. So why did the star cross the road? And the star is also coming up here as Sophia's throne. So why did the star, or Sophia's throne, cross the road? To join sides for a supernova experience in the middle, alchemizing both sides and shining bright. So the 29 of the imp rising on imprisonment, with mouse and details, remember, of tales and stories, of Mr. Bojangles brought back to life, and the official person who's pleased with themselves and also affected by this. A jolt of longevity on the Green Mile, dancing to I'm in heaven in the end. The Green Mile is a way to extend life. Co-creation island, like the island of misfit toys. And green is the G of the spiral with the reen, R-E-E-N, which is the sled, the command, the word, the rake. Once more, a running waterway, a ditch, a stream or river. Imprison is to impry sun, where pry is near or close to, about the sun, and the intention here. The I am close to sun, imprison. At 121, the leap to the world, the whole, the 2 and the 1 of the feminine and the masculine coming together to make it whole. Which is really funny. I wrote sore throat at the top of this page when I started getting a sore throat on the 12th. So at 130, which is the leap to the union, or the masculine and the home, green and God's word, spiraling connection to running water. At 131, from 15/6 of the devil and the lovers, or love, family, and community, or the shadow and the lovers, to the 22 of the fool's journey with an open heart, taking a leap of faith. The mature woman judicating that family is home and garden, and sudden wealth under examination or audit, imprisoning an official person here. At 134, which is the leap to the 34 of energetic exchange and the arrows of love, or just busyness in general. The first card here is the 38 of the Queen of Cups, toiling and laboring, and another 38 of the twin bridges. So 2 Queens of Cups perhaps here, or perhaps them and their alter ego, but now coming into alignment with themselves. The weaving, the sewing, the connecting, the discerning, the knowing when to cut it out, and the 10 of high vibe destiny, of the Page of Pentacles, the student of life, or curiosity who killed the cat, or 2 Queen of Cups, or 2 High Priestesses as the 2-2, destined or framed by Aries and Libra, or bookends, with wealthy man in transition, and the end or a death, or official stepping down, perhaps cutting them out in transition, with Aries, Water, Libra, Scorpio, to remain a wealthy man. At 140 is the leap to the Page of Cups, and the frog in the rain, or is arraigned, after the hyena slithered away, the wise owl and the cobra overseeing the butterfly's transformation, or their MO of Ohio, or owing but with excuses here. The cobra on high alert as the frog longs for happy dolphin, or when they were free and easy and now caught up in a web of the lion's den, facing the crocodile nose to nose, but the croc lost their sense of smell or cut off their nose to spite their face, as the lion remained calm and the croc lay in wait, ready to snap. At 146, the leap to the 46 of the Six of Cups. And the dear one and the beaver, who's kind and hardworking, in the cosmic egg of the collective awakening on the ground side by side, crowning separately the wheat from the chaff, and the snake shedding their skin. At 148, the leap to walking away and within, as the cards at the end, as the peacock with flowering blooms, and the wolf who's stunned or watching for one, the black egg, the truth, the sore throat, and the bunny scared. The nightingale will sing, or baby's breath calling out softly that the spring is about to hatch. The deer who worked hard, and beaver who built a dam, ready for the collective to crown and see the truth, or the Queen of Swords' destined retirement, or killing two birds with one stone, as the truth is about to hatch. At 155, the leap to the truth, and the underlying energy of the Two of Cups, the Emperor and the Empress, partnering up, or parents who meet up with grown children, or now without parents, as both have now passed, and dark night comes forward to the Queen of Cups to divide and conquer and get it done fast. Perhaps the Queen of Cups may have something to say to the dark night or Scorpio, but then the Queen of Swords is talking about or offered no sleep or stressed or purging to end up sovereign Nine of Pentacles, or worried about sovereign and the Page of Pentacles kids or soulmates, or the Nine of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles coming full circle or complete, the Divine Feminine or Pisces or Virgo, High Priestess and Magician, or two Pisces and two Virgos, or two sides of each self, as the Queen of Swords holds space, and the King of Swords light, or she with stress, sister, or suffering in silence, and the King of Swords presents evidence or expert witness. Give me 1 second, I just want to grab my water right here and take a sip. My throat's feeling much better today, like it doesn't hurt when I cough anymore, but I forgot when I do my video, you know, you're talking a lot. Okay, so at 204 with the High Priestess and the Emperor, with lawyers or accountants or financial advisors here, or Virgo and Gemini, mercurial energies, and the King of Swords satisfied to set them free. The Page of Swords stepping up or responding now, or given a choice perhaps to Aries and the Page of Swords, or Wounded Warrior offered 2 of 9 wands, but they didn't accept, or Wounded and on guard of the Devil, Capricorn, or on the witness stand, or Sagittarius or Fiery Happy is mad they got off scot-free without taking on their fair share of responsibilities. At 210, the Divine Feminine or High Priestess, or perhaps 2 or mediating here with the 10 of Destiny and High Vibration. The first card out here is the King of Cups and the Page of Wands, inspiring the Knight of Wands, or inspired that the Knight of Wands is coming in fast. Innocent and hardworking, and the collective cutting to the chase. At 212 of the Feminine and the Hanging Man, of the Queen of Pentacles, the Chariot, the King of Pentacles, dividing and conquering or merging to go separate ways. The Knight of Pentacles makes an offer to Justice, Judge, or Libra, King of Wands, with great affection for the Page of Cups and the Knight of Cups, or loving kids offering love to the Queen of Wands, or the Queen and King of Pentacles offering help to, or traveling in to help Libra, King of Wands, or King of Wands in court, where lovers with the kids offering love to the Queen of Wands, or the Queen of Pentacles offers help to the King of Wands, and then the King of Wands offers love to the Queen of Wands. Perhaps the Knight of Wands runs home to the King of Cups and the Page of Wands to give an update, or the Queen of Pentacles and King of Pentacles to give the King of Cups, Cancer, a ride, or a collective awakening to get things done after Gemini, Aries, and Capricorn were waiting a long time. Cancer and Libra come in, and or multiple couples or family court, or going on vacation together at 221. The Divine Feminine in the world, or coming to a closure here. Or wealthy man retiring or on break with or without Baby Bird and Queen of Wands at 222, which is the Guidance Counselor show. It also references all the twos of the 2 of the High Priestess or Divine Feminine, the 22 of the Fool with an open heart, and the 222 of the love of the 6, the family, the community. Okay, so that was number 1. So then number 2, and then it snowed. Nothing stuck, but it did flurry, and Teddy hasn't seen much snow at all, so it's kind of exciting for him when it comes up. So here's the second message of the day, and this one starts with the energy deck, and then the Lenormand Kipper deck, 2 texts in one, and then the Wild Unknown Animal again, and then the half deck of Rider-Waite. And same setup as before. I'll bring them up a little closer so you can see better. Doesn't want to focus. Having trouble focusing on the energy here. There we go, it's better. Okay. All right, let's see how much I can get through here. It's like extra effort. It's a lot of energy because I do so much talking when I do 3-hour reads. I don't mean to do them that way, but it's all the messages that are coming through. The messages are wonderful to come through, but remember that I spend all this time off camera doing the work first for hours before I actually come on to talk. So the talking is what exhausts me. Excuse me for just 1 second. I'm sorry I have my mic on, but I have to blow my nose. All right, so I have all right, the next one is on the 13th. And the mushroom was coming up a lot here. It was very interesting. Swahili came up on the 12th, before the 13th there, and a corridor or a bay regarding Swahili energy. So if any of you know anything about that, perhaps locally to you, let me know about that in the comments. But the mushroom coming up is the M, the Ushru, and then the M. And then the Ushru, because the Uluru kind of comes up right there as well. But the M and the M on either end, and then the Ushru between. The corridor without the bay, between co-creations or rolling stones. The center heart, which is also coming up as the cave portal and the sacred ritual. The hearts intertwined came up. And again, the mushroom on the sea and feeling the connection of the upside down mushroom as well. So just that shape of the mushroom was coming up a lot. And it was interesting because like a long mushroom, you know, with a small head and a long tail, was coming up in a show that was on. There was some kind of imagery that was matching up to that. So it was definitely, and that was a Korean show, I believe. And then my initials were coming up as well. EC and EV were both coming up. And that can represent, of course, other things like electric vehicle. But that was at 444, an angelic connection. So then we get into this read that I just showed you for 313, which the energy that day was the 23 of the King of Wands and the 13 of the Death card, which is big transition or transformation. or just dark night of the soul, or just the dark night in general, or Scorpio energy there. So this one was at 950 to 52, which is the 50 of the 10 of Cups, and then the King and Queen of Swords. And the numbers that came up at the end of each deck were 1132 and 113106, with alignment with the journey and good news, alignment and justice of the Empress with destined lover or high vibe family, and then the Divine Masculine or Magician in transition to the Divine Feminine or higher self was coming up. And I didn't go into gematria, but you can always look them up yourself online with gematria. At 956, which is the Hermit and the Two of Swords, the underlying energy of 18 of anxiety and 35 of pathway, the Octopus and the Empress. Post the full moon, which was on the 7th, and the release of anxiety or moodiness of the wounded warrior, perhaps injured or ill. The path of the butterflies or nervousness about life's work or the Empress, and the brain overstimulated or need for boundaries or worried about being pregnant or what a child will do with the parents' life work when left to them. And by the way, with the illness coming up, I got sick because my daughter was sick first. She brought it home from work. But even when she was sick before, I never got sick. You know, both my kids have been home and back and forth, and we've traveled everywhere. And like I said, I haven't been sick in 7-8 years. So something significant about me getting sick now. I'm also off of 2 vitamins that I normally take. One was an amino acid, and the other was my liquid daily vitamin. So I still take a lot of different vitamins, but I don't have my regular liquid multivitamin that I take. So I'm wondering if one of them is the reason, because I am vegetarian. I'm ovo-lacto vegetarian. So, you know, I might be needing those amino acids. So the energy at 10:06 here is the 10 of the wheel and the 6 of the lovers. The underlying energy of the 22 of yin yang, with an open heart taking a leap of faith, to the 21 to journal, complete the ship's log, a strategy for the 52 Queen of Swords, and the Fool coming full circle with the Goddess of the Moon, and the 1 of the Magician of the Sun, with Aries or Pisces balanced or on a trip, as the Queen of Swords, Gemini or Virgo, or even Leo or kids or pets, are strategizing night and day, the Queen of Swords with anxiety, or the moon child, pet, or Cancer worrying about them and misses them perhaps. So with 27 and 50 coming up right there, the Ace of Wands and 10 of Cups, inspired to walk away, but worried at the same time, perhaps leaving someone or a pet at home, with Angel of Strength and the 10 of Cups, loving family. And the 37 of the 3rd chakra, Archangel Chamuel, with the King of Cups activating the solar plexus and your confidence, as the Hermit or Virgo heals the heart. Pisces and Cancer, Leo and Virgo energies there, with unconditional love and a broken heart, or Cancer or Virgo and pet or child missing Pisces or Leo when they're away from home. Or the King of Cups and the Matriarch holding down the fort while Aries and or Pisces play at 10:19, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the Sun. At 10:20 then, going on to that wake-up call, the underlying energy of 27 and a risky letter, a text or sealed document inspiring the loving lady to the truth, to be present and to her gifts. Where the 40 Page of Cups baby or Pisces feeling vulnerable on journey of despair or journey of the pair, or without their pet or looking for work to take care of them. With the 36 and the 6 of Wands, burdened by Atlas, load, reputation, religion, or religious beliefs, and loving lady's message, or loving baby's message, of truth sealed with a kiss, under the radar dumping a load off, on the Fool's journey to leap or jump off point, with the Queen of Pentacles or Aries Queen of Pentacles to choose a direction. From 22 to 33, man with concerns of martyrdom, of being stuck on the bridge with family tree, and synchronicities, things they love, and clearinghouse or freedom. The Tree of Life, and again the Tree Keys of CHEZ, of the Shay of the house. which also can be pronounced as keys. The tree keys, that home is where the heart is, freedom of the rainbow bridge, and the family commitments or clearing out the house. The 4 of finding stability in courtship with the Queen of Pentacles leap, and the Christ consciousness or Christ vibration of sacrifice, of womb to tomb, of exalted one. The quantum entanglement of the solar plexus, like scrambled eggs with mushroom. Where 20, with Mother Nature's wake-up call, to release anxieties and fears and public judgment, that those in glass houses who shouldn't throw stones, and the Knight of Cups community, and a going away party for the wounded warrior, or butterflies here, or the young ones transforming, with the Hierophant and the Emperor, or church and state, or religious and coming of age ceremony, to send them on their way, at 1038, which is the destiny of the Queen of Cups, with Aries, Taurus, and Aquarius here as well. Okay, so the first card here was 29 with the Power Lady watching out, or ready for marriage. The Wounded Warrior with the Truth, Venus and gifts, and pulling up anchor for abundant marriage, perhaps. Getting married, leaving security of the parents behind. Sagittarius and Taurus, Queen of Wands, Saggy, and Cancerous or toxic snake in the garden. Having to go through the garden before the mountain. Coming full circle. It's like coming around the mountain when she comes, but having to go through the garden first before the mountain, and coming full circle with Sagittarius, Cancer, and Pisces at home, or with Emperor, King of Cups, and Saggy, Wounded Warrior, Fox leaving for busy job, or occupied with energetic exchange, or love, or moving from toxic mountain home, or traveling for work, a very busy month of back and forth, or Empress on abundant cruise or blissful cruise, or Emperor and Empress traveling to university or institution, or moving for a job to find peace or be closer to work, or visiting colleges with child, or moody daughter, perhaps number 18, or visiting son on vacation, day and night, traveling overnight as the King of Cups, in a time crunch, or making time for sister and mother or wife and daughter. The 28 of watching out the window with expectation. Sorry, I just put a lozenge in my mouth. It'll be gone soon. And then the 17 of nesting the dream with a sudden event. And the 16 of a supernova with the 6 of Cups soul tie, and the 39 Knight of Cups taking a chance. Cancer, Pisces, Aries, Sagittarius, Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, and Scorpio all here at 10:55 in high vibe destined truth, Excalibur, the Ace of Swords here, and the underlying energy of the oyster with their feelers out, with the bee hovering, excited for the pearl to come out. The crow standing guard as the ground crew, dispelling dark energies from the ocean. And it was coming up as BC, like or before Christ, and the rook. And then the Merlin was coming up, because the Merlin, the top of the castle, you know, the E tower, is a Merlin. It's a barricade structure for war. So the before Christ energy, or however you want to use the acronym BC, on this rook here of Merlin, after dispelling dark energies from the ocean, because of rook, because of Merlin, Merlin before Christ, the E tower, the top dog's life work, and Oi, the urgent path to BCRO, with 8 departments who work independently, with a mainframe very active, or hive mind of the queen bee that's about to hatch. And that's a very earthly energy in the sense of spring coming, But that can also reference, some gray hive that's about to birth a new queen. But CRO is also the clinical research organization, which is something I used to do. I worked at University of Penn for 25 years. And the clinical research organization is a go-between for the companies. Because when they do research studies, they hire a whole bunch of hospitals to come on the study to collect patient information. So now the clinical research organization takes that off the company's hands, so they don't have to deal with it. They just deal with the research company. So it's like a middle management kind of energy. So the clinical research organization comes up here, who collect data from many hospitals at the same time, a go-between the drug company or device company and patient locations like hospitals. Sifting through the data and cleaning it up. A body of work about to be released. So some kind of research is about to come out. And that could be related to this queen bee hive mentality energy coming out. So at 11:05 of alignment and freedom and change and expansion with space between, after the beaver worked tirelessly for a crowning achievement, the cosmic egg, the collective awakening on the ground side by side, with the peacock at crossroads, or one who ran to LA, that could be Louisiana as well, or co-peas, as in peas in the pod, or pico at 8-way intersection, with oyster about to open, and must decide which way they go before it does. So it's the same thing as the twin flame journey. You can't know in order to make the leap. You have to do the leap before you know, because you're supposed to know within. It's taking that leap of faith before it happens. So again, at the intersection, the 8-way intersection, with the oyster about to open, you must decide which way to go before it does. Coming out of the chrysalis, the bee or carpenter hovering over land, and the crow over sea, reporting both sides in this crowning moment. At 11:10, and I keep noticing times where one number is less than the other. Like this morning I woke up at 9:08 or 8:09. I can't remember what it was, but 11:10 is coming up here, of alignment and destiny, on the first card of the unicorn, dragon, stingray, hawk, bear, and wolf. The third eye in the crown, and all of this between, drilling into the head or sea, with dragon keeping an eye on things at the solar plexus. This quantum entanglement or intersection of the two crazy eights, worried about boundaries on the path to grandmother's house, or child's first time traveling alone. Your life's work, which is a child, right? A little child, a creation, overseen by the third eye and the solar eye. The 5D gate holder, dragon, or the eunuch doctor, or Dre. The sting of the ray activated and plugged into the hawk, who's clearing the way for the bear to the wolf. The bear protection, but slow getting started, and the wolf who's stunned or dazed and confused, or can't believe their eyes, seeing the dragon fly, two as one. A beautiful mind when merged together, fluttering and pulsing, both horn and tail, drilling and plugging or pulling in, the dragonfly and the butterfly together, with cobra on high alert around the black egg or the truth. Or dog watching the dragonflies and butterflies hatching, guarding the truth of the planetary throat chakra, as here I am with my cold and sore throat. Perhaps there's a Scorpio transformation here with the little ones or soulmate. To that, a gamble, or about to have 3, and someone might be about to have triplets, where the otter is curious and the turtle is slow, the fish is out of water, or a curious otter doing overtime watching 2 fish, or a turtle slow, so fish leaps ahead, or Cancer or Scorpio is telling Pisces to go on without them, or 2 little ones actually making sure that the third makes it across, right? Children working together to help each other out. which is really cute. And that was, again, goes back to the joke of like, how did the whatever cross the road? And here now the two little ones are helping the third across. So 1127 is the alignment of the Ace of Wands, the underlying energy of the Page of Wands, excited to set the Page of Swords free, and then offering an alternative, or Aries wrangling them in. So again, this can be one child helping another. Oh, and by the way, when I went out for my walk with Teddy yesterday, there was a robin standing in the middle of the street. And we talked for a couple minutes before he only flew away because I let Teddy come into the street. And I was very surprised because normally Teddy would go chasing after a squirrel or something. But he just stood there with me as I talked to the robin, and the robin just listened to me. And again, didn't move out of the center of the street. I thought he was hurt or something. I'm like, why are you standing there in the middle? It was so windy out, and it is today again, but it's a little nicer today. And again, it wasn't until Teddy entered the street that the robin flew away. The King of Swords is offering a choice to the Page of Swords, and the Page of Cups and Knight of Cups divide and conquering or split up to get it done. The Page of Cups to the King of Swords, and the Knight of Cups to the Queen of Wands, and the Page of Pentacles inviting the wounded warrior, knowing they may be defensive about it or on guard, as the Dark Knight and the Divine Feminine or Pisces, as the Queen of Cups passionately rushes in, or with their pet. Or this could be jogs around the neighborhood and bumps into Dark Knight, Scorpio, or a funeral procession. The Queen of Swords talks to or about lack of sleep or stress, or purging all night with the Nine of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles on the road to come together with temptation, or Cancer and Capricorn, sister. Pisces, Virgo are keeping to self, and the Emperor and the Empress are there as well. So at 1137 of alignment with the King of Cups are three keys, or two earthy females vacationing together to connect with the holy rollers, or powerful couple and kids. Or ball and chain and higher self, the Emperor and the Empress. Or the Emperor and the Empress don't approve of them. Or sees the sister or psychic, Pisces or Virgo or Aquarius as the devil. Or the Capricorn refuses to speak around them. At 1141 of Justice and the Ace of Cups, of the first card, the Lovers manifest big with the Hermit's advice. Or lovers come to the table to lay all their cards out and take a look. Gemini and Virgo here, with Emperor and Empress off to the side, could be twins working together, or to work it out, with Magician with all their tools on board, and Sunny, or mediating lovers with help from the Hermit, or Snow Caps, taking a higher perspective, or in gray weather, or forecasting the weather, making magic and shedding light, or day and night shifts, or holding light and keeping light on for when they get home at 1147. So at the end here, satisfied with self, the King of Pentacles, admitting or admiring the little ones, or getting the truth out of 2 to 3 kids, or shedding light on what actually happened. The Knight of Pentacles or court clerk comes in, or offer of help from the King of Pentacles to judge, Justice or Libra with the King of Wands and the King of Cups, or did the King of Pentacles try to pay the judge off, or just offering to represent them. Aries, Gemini, Virgo, and Libra here, as the King of Pentacles is offering help to 3 blind mice, or Virgo offering help to Libra, who may be in his ego about that, or the King of Pentacles and King of Wands being mediated with the King of Cups present. And maybe they don't like that. All right, so that's the second one. Now we go into number 3, which is on the 14th. And this one starts out with the Journey of Love and then the Energy deck. Journey of Love, the Energy deck, and then the mixed decks, the Lenormand, Reverie, and Kipper, the Wild Unknown, and the half deck of Rider-Waite, which is the same with the other ones. All right, so I'm going to bring them in closer so you can see. Number 3. That's 10409. All right, so this third one, and the 14th, by the way, was my daughter's birthday, Pi Day. And excuse me. So this is when there were flurries outside on the 14th. was really funny. I dreamed. So I'm going to Canada with my sister. So we're going skiing with friends of the family. And I dreamed that day that, and we're just driving, we're not flying anywhere, but I dreamed that we flew to the airport just before the Canadian border, and then we're going to drive from there. But when I got to the airport, I realized I didn't have my passport, I didn't have my bags, and I had no pants on. I had my underwear on, and I had my top stuff on, but I had no pants on. It was the funniest thing. And I was so concerned, like, how am I going to figure this out? I can go out and buy some clothes, but I don't have my passport. And there's somebody home who can get my passport for me. And I'm trying to figure this out. And I woke up just in time to be so thankful that I actually woke up out of this dream, that none of it was actually real. It was just one of those typical, worried about getting things done. And I'm not really worried about that stuff at all. So I guess my subconscious is taking care of it for me. So this one was done from 11:37 to 41 that day, or excuse me, 10:37 to 10:41. So we had the King of Cups 37, and the Queen of Cups, the Knight of Cups, the Page of Cups, and then the 41 is the Ace of Cups. A lot of loving energy there, all the people. And then as far as the piles at the end, we had 11122 and then 11739, which transcribes numerologically as co-creation on the Fool's Journey, justice alignment of the Chariot with the Knight of Cups, and the Magic Star, Knight of Cups again. And the Knight of Cups very much can just represent being love. I started at 10:58 here, destined to that 5D connection, the Four of Swords, with the underlying energy here, the 30 of Towering Magnificence, the 30, I was just seeing when it was blurry right there, the candle and the love sign straight ahead looked like a house. And now I'm getting, our house is a very, very, very fine house. Okay, that's coming up. The 30 of Towering Magnificence, the 3 of Blossoming Abundance, the 29 of Imprisonment, and the Firefly and the Devil. So home union with the Empress, Mother Nature, magnificently blossoms with snow, and beautiful weather all at the same time, apart in time zones. As my daughter was in Phoenix, which is very beautiful and sunny, and here it was snowing. A gift and a present, which can be imprisonment, depending on your perspective, where the mouse is asking to come in or to go to jail. And then jail was also coming up, the jail beach. And the padlock here, locked up in a pad. Let me in out of the cold, please, sir, please, which was coming up from the movie Oliver. The firefly with a bright idea or illumination, but as fleeting snow. The devil with temptation waving hello. Two locked together no matter where they go. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, under God, oh, that was weird. One nation under God, but I said guard, with liberty and justice for all, and then was coming up as for all, AWL, and for is the lamb to leap through the hole, because the all is the hole maker. Teddy's dreaming. I don't know if you can hear him. So I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. And then what came up at that point was, right, because the republic specifically is a non-monarchy, right? There's no emperor, there's no executive. I mean, there's no, one person. It's the branches are separate in government. The executive and legislative branches are separate. And nation is Nat Ion, which is the unforgettable connection. That's under God, with liberty and justice for all. So what they were bringing this up for is because when you're saying a pledge allegiance, you're pledging allegiance to a flag, not to source, direct. Do you understand? So then the energy of the G was coming up with OD. And remember, the OD is like the two circles at the bottom of the safety pin with the divine feminine side, which is the point that comes out and back in again. and the other side of the spiral G coming into that. So this is God feeding the feminine first, right, through the sun. So before she's connected to the masculine, she's connected to source energy, which then she fills up from the sun, creating the connection to the masculine. So spiraling into the divine feminine at Lady Liberty with truth and balance and alignment for all, the lambda leap to the whole maker, right, to the whole. The alignment that's equal, where alignment is a line, right? A line is 2 dots or a leap or an arc, and then ment is intent. So a line of intention or a leap of intent, an arc of intention, which also A is the human embodiment of source, connecting to that leap of intent, right? That leap of faith. The leap in to the twin towers of JC, which you see when you write twin towers of JC. The twin towers can represent pi, and JC can represent the toroidal field with directional movement, you see. The pillars of the toroidal direction, the Romans that trigger JC, with the pi of the circle with the line down the middle, and then the pi C's, which is, right, the opposite. So it got all the same parts, it's just redirected, right? This is the 2 halves, and this is the 2 halves back to back, where the line just turns the other direction, right, to the salty direction. But those 2 C's with the line between also represents the leap from one dimension to another, which is why Pisces represents that way. The Romans that trigger JC, the pi, that's half and half, and then the 2 back to back, leaping from one to the other. 2 differing perspectives coming together in the middle at the assassination. Because we have the assassination of Julius Caesar today, the Ides of March, the year 44, Hercules, her creation, or her harvest. And then we have Jesus' assassination, where assassination is 2 asses and unforgettable connection. A 2-person donkey, or is that a mule? I am the unforgettable connection that is each other. With snow and sun locked up inside until you figure out, and notice the figure is like a figure 8, until you figure out you took an oath to the devil. You took allegiance to a flag and a republic for witches stand. Less than God as under God. Less than God with liberty, which is a statue, and judge for all. The cold and hot, or cool and warm, in lockup until you realize you must pledge to each other through source, not to make the devil first. At 11:23, which is alignment with justice, truth, and balance, and the King of Wands, which is this year about the wake-up call to the King of Wands to learn how to control his passions, the underlying energy of the 56 and the 2 of Swords, through the dance of the planets, which planets is play nets or play grids, and the 11 of the eruption of light in the Heroes Gamos or Heroes Games, the Y in the road where the source splits into 2 and 2 come back together under 1, the Delta Dawn, the triangle of a new day, a right angle at high vibration, and the 25 of the seed of the heart, and the question mark, the spiral, the ear of inspiration, to hear the call, to breathe and beat, the little drummer boy, so sweet, the 22 of the Fool with an open heart, loving all that is, the Fool with an open heart, and a leap in his step. At 11:28, of alignment of the twin flames and choice of path, holding space for that question to ruminate into the 30 of towering magnificence of union of the mighty sentinels, the union of heart and soul, of SL and TM, of source language and trademark, the bunch, the second life, the steam or the launch, which the steam can cause, the second life, the Swan Lake, and Scotland all came up there. With Sine Loco, which can represent, right, the craziness of the sine wave, and the TM, which can be trademark, but also means to be complete, tot and met, finished, atom or atom, and okay in a broad sense, sensulato, without place, savings and loan, or Saturday Night Live, perhaps. So at 11:37 is okay and at complete. And 11:38 is the first card of the 49 and the woman of light, taking in the snow, SNL, snow and light. Source language of the 40 of the Page of Cups to the sweetheart, the void. The void is the VOID. The V is the creation, the O is the human, and the idea, right? Either the identification or I divine. The home of the 9 of Cups and the Page of Cups, and the 8 of Cups, where men are of the earth and women of the sky. The 4s of the 4 quarters and the lambda leap of the numbers came out as 30 and then 908 and then 43, and the 4s are coming up as the word for. So 30, 4, 908, 4, 3. The lambda leap of the 4, which is an L and a 1, which are actually not lines but arcs. The lambda leap, or the guy flying from the flying trapeze, from being the lamb to the father. The rolling stone with space to bring in the 9 and the 8 at the same time in that 6, 9, 8 pod, right? The 8 and 9 have to happen at the same time with space between. 1 human 9 and 1 human 8. For 30908, for 3 is 309, which is a highway near me, but it's also 369, because not only is 6 in the now moment right now, right? Because we're we're dealing with the 4th density now, as opposed to the 3rd, but also is the 6 of the spiral, which can be represented as a 0 as well as a 6. So 309 actually equals 369 with spiral of the human in the middle between the rolling stone of the 3, which is the 3, M, W, and E, and then the 9, which is the 1 and the all, the holy one. The all, A, W, L, which is the whole maker that makes the whole, and the whole with a W that makes the all. ALL, right? So the AWL that makes the whole, and then the whole with the W that makes the all, ALL. The rolling stone co-creates from all different directions in a circular fashion, where fashion is fash connection, and fash is disdain, worry, and bother, to annoy, or far right. Remember I said far right, because liberal is going to come up in a second. So fash is coming up as the far right, confusion, shame, and trigger. Lady Liberty comes up as liberty, the lie of cold with gratitude. Where lib is liberal, medicine, poison, charm, and to castrate, emasculate, freedom, free, life, and livelihood of the body. Or monastic life. The liberal, or the liberal young bull, free to castrate themselves with liberty and sudden gratitude for this freedom, whether medicine or poison. So again, there's this, this far right and then far left energies coming up here playing off of each other between fashion and liberty. And that's, New York, the Statue of Liberty and Fashion Week. So we have 908 here, which is, and 309 coming up. And 908 then coming up as 968 as well, being the spiral in the middle, where the 908 area code is Elizabeth, New Jersey, mainly Elizabeth. And also 908 was a leap year. And then 309 or 369, but I was looking up the 09. 309 is Peoria, Illinois, and the year of consulship of Licinianus, and Constantius, or 1062 ab urbe condita. 309 here, the highway was built in the 1800s, with a U.S. highway system developed in 1926. So there's that page of wands again, the 26, the seed. And Route 22 comes up when you look up 309 as well. And I couldn't figure out what that was supposed to mean. I read through it. But it's listed as Route 22. But it's not on the highway. Like, I never see 22. So it might connect for a bit with 22. But again, that's representing the Fool's Journey with the 369. And then 908 is a highway both north of Pittsburgh and in Maryland, but that one's unsigned. It looks like a shore access type road. So again, the 369 and the 968, where the 968 comes together, they were bringing, the 698 pod, obviously when 6 and 9 face each other, they have the two peas in a pod in the middle. But when the 9 and the 6 are back to back, it becomes the bow tie, like the AE connection, right? The ash. So 369, when you write 369 completely reflected the other way, it becomes P, P-A-E, as in ash, A-E. Really cool the way it came up. So PAE means rice, straw, year, or the number 5 as the reflection of 369. Very interesting. And 2 369s equals 698 pod, or the E that faces the 3, which then becomes the number 8, or 2 halves of a pod. Just opposing reflections of the rolling stone inside the 6 and 9, or the family love, the community love and compassion, which is 6 and 9. The 22 of loving all that is on the Fool's Journey home, and that card just happened to come up after I looked up 309, which was being reflected as 22. Loving all that is on the Fool's Journey home, and the 30 of getting your wish with the 49 as Lady Liberty and the Page of Cups sweetheart. In sun and void, the divine feminines laying down their hair in the vortex, like the red carpet for the sun, but then wondering where they went, coming together in turbulence. He's there, but they can't see him. The holy sea, the whispering bench, the void of emotion, and yet full and whole, empty and whole at the same time, the hollowed instrument to make sound as the air vibrates through it. The river runs through it as well. The river which is the one who ribs or tears or rips apart and scratches, destroys all in its path. The water that runs from the spoon. The stillness chasing its tail, its storyline, carving its path, whether the land likes it or not. Okay, and this is the relationship between water and land. At 1221. Right? You never think of a peaceful river as something that violent, right? That rips through everything in its way. Water always finds a way through the land, right? So as it's 1224, which is the Hanging Man and the Queen of Wands, as land gives way and holds space at the same time for the water, worn down, allowing the water and weathering the storm, becoming a trough for the animals to drink from, as he must meet her halfway. He must slow their waters as the rivers run dry, and still waters run deep, tunneling down to where others weep, and where no men have gone before. Transitioning in the lambda leap, from the lamb to the father leap, going within to come together. At 1228, the Hanging Man and the Twin Flames, the underlying energy of the 38, Queen of Cups, and the 4th chakra, Archangel Raphael, which was coming up as 3-8 was being broken down into, because 8 is both 3 and E, it comes up as 3E3. Remember, E is one equal and congruent to the other. So here's 3, where 1 is equal and congruent to 3, and 3 is equal and congruent to 3 when E is in the middle of 33, the Christ vibration. The 32 of the door of spirit, as the snow blows in. The Queen of Cups journeys home. And it was coming up as skipping not the 6-pack, but the 5-pack. Skipping the 5-pack. And I'm not quite sure what that means. I think that's a specific message for someone. The Queen of Cups journey home. So they're not skipping the 6-pack or the drinking. They're skipping the 5-pack, and that means something to someone. I don't know if someone smokes 5 cigarettes a day or something like that, but someone's skipping out on that to go home. The garden and the gate of the 66, the golden gate or the spiral rose heart. Route 66, spiraling rose heart, where 6 is the human on earth and 9 is the human not. That was very interesting. And 9 is usually compassion, whereas 6 is the lower energy of traditional human love and family. The 51 of the King of Swords and the Healer of the Ages in the dome, along with 3 of Mother Nature and blossoming abundance, a pond. I'm just getting a pondering, right? A little speck of something, right? A pond is just a touch of water. It's a pondering on whether we want this land site or not, as the river wants to come in. And then the numbers all lined up were coming up. 201 was coming up there. Of the energy of Christ and the messenger of truth, of the divine feminine and masculine, and the space between, and the 69 of the 698 spiral, and the freedom and commitment to come together. At 1239 of the hanging man and the Knight of Cups, with the 33 of the Christ vibration and the door to romance, the 16 of patience and the 2 of the journey, 15 of appreciation here, romancing the stone, the E in the middle of 33 with sudden patience for liberty at 10, 11, 12, which is the 60, or perhaps the number 60, or age 60 and then 61. 3, 33, and 16, which then also 36, 49, and 52 came up from them. The Mother and Christ, or Earth and Sun, with the weight of the world, getting the wish of the 52, Lady Liberty. As Mother and Son, or Nature and Unity, with sudden patience, the Tower of Liberty. After 10 comes 11/2, the journey of the Divine Feminine, Higher Self, on the bridge, with bags, waiting for the winds to blow, to determine the direction to go. So notice after 10 comes 11, but in 2, right? So 102 is then the masculine and the feminine with space between. And the 11 is the alignment, because she is both sides of the coin at the same time. The journey of the feminine with her higher self on the bridge, with her bags waiting for the winds to blow to determine direction to go. And then the 15 of appreciation for Mother Nature. But can you show appreciation when Mother throws a temper tantrum, when she throws you a storm, the need to wipe the slate clean in the calm before the storm? And can you accept that before the storm happens and not be affected by it? At 1249, the hanging man and the 9 of cups, with the 15 of the polar bear, the pushy mother, the shadow side of loving Mother Nature, or the loving mature woman. Judicating the home as in a public judgment or wake-up call, with Sagittarius, Queen of Wands, or vehicle, or Cancer, the key to the snake in the garden, as the 37, which is the 3 keys, the King of Cups, impoverished, or Mother chasing away toxic Queen of Wands daughter, or toxic son, or Gemini and Aquarius, or twins in the Garden of Eden, or Eve's den, where she took a bite and sent him running. To the 34 of the energetic exchange, or arrows of love, or very busy place, the busyness of the King of Pentacles and abundance. And the 44 of the 4 of Cups, tested with boredom and apathy, with infection, inspection, and details, of making things bigger than they are. At 1256 of the hanging man and the knowingness of grounding, integrating, and mastering, perhaps at the gym, how to receive love, her harvest, imprisoned by gifts or presents or lockup, in waiting for their ship to come in, imprisoning self As the mouse then shows up, Mr. Bojangles, so you won't be so bored, teaching them tricks and inspiring you to more. At 12:59, the hanging man in the 11th hour, where the first card here is the 13 of the Page of Swords, and the transition of the child, or perhaps a Scorpio child's message, and the 30 of home with flowers, and the Knight of Swords in nature, peaceful, spiritual union. As the King of Swords and the Page of Swords, and sudden wealth of alignment, which, remember, alignment is all line and intent, or a line and intention. At 101 of two masculines or two magicians or two leaps with space between. And I was just getting, with the colon, I was getting Mr. Bill saying, oh no. So two masculines and Mr. Bill in the middle in a line or leap arc of intention. And then I was getting the energy of, infinity, right? So the source energy of the dot in the middle has to do with source and all roads that lead home to source, right? So, but it looks like a donut or a tire, which also looks like the stove, right? Because the ignition pilot comes up here in the next read as well. So in this donut, or the toroidal field top down, the gift of the mother and child to the King of Swords in sudden wealth of 777s here. The 11 and 777s, or the full house of justice alignment and 3 keys, or tree keys, or the tree house, tree of life, hitting the jackpot, that there's no place like home and ohm, with 2, or the Q of 11/2, and going within to the Queen's chambers of 11 cubits, which is in the pyramids, that are equal and congruent to the QE2, which when you outline the things that overlap between the Q2 and the E, what's left is the 6 of the spiral that's equal to the 2 or the Z, or is that Oz, right? The 6-2 can also be O2 or OZ, which is Oz, which also can be oxygen. And then also 62 comes up as the reflection here. Z is 26, which is that Page of Wands again. And 26 times 6 is 156, or the leap to 56, the knowingness, right? Keeping your energy clear into yourself, leaping to knowing without the need to tell. That once you know, the collective expands, right, exponentially within. You don't need to tell without, because then the collective all knows from within. After the lockup, the home feels great, doesn't it? Like you hit the jackpot, because you have. There's no place like home. And you don't know that until you've not been allowed to be home, right? Like in jail. So at 110, which is then the 1 of the masculine and the magician and the leap, and the 10 of destiny, the 23 is this year of the King of Wands and the mouse, and standing up to others' messes, or perhaps cleaning up your own, or teaching kids or pets how to do it themselves. And it was so good today. Teddy he's really good. He doesn't bark. He only barks when he wants to play. He doesn't bark when he's mad at someone, because he's such a loving, sweet guy. But when he wants to come in the back door, usually we don't leave him because he doesn't want to go out back by himself. But now he's starting to do that a little bit. So I leave him to go out, but he doesn't usually stay out for very long. But he doesn't say anything. He just sits at the back door until I come, because he knows I usually come. But yesterday I specifically said to him when I let him out, I said, when you want to come back in, come to the door and you have to woof. And he did. It was so exciting. He never does that. So he actually listened to me. So this is very much along the same lines of teaching your children, your pets, how to do things on their own. Change or official person here, or cleaning up their act, with the Hermit on the Fool's journey, as the 38 Queen of Cups works hard to nest the dream, or clean up the home, learning to appreciate what you've got, as the Knight of Cups 39 takes a chance clearing their insides, finding freedom and commitment, clearing inside and out, seeing synchronicities in things they love and heaven in their eyes, and reaping rewards of their efforts. Or kids and the official man clean up, while the Queen of Cups and Knight of Cups come together to nest the dream, learning to appreciate and take care of and value what you've got. At 118, the leap to 18, or that energy of Kai, which I can't say, I can't roll anything anyway, that energy of the essence of life, of spirit, of the 10 and the 8, which is the dance of destiny. The peacock here and the underlying energy, the vulture, the fox, the oyster, bee, dragon, and whale, with home, health, and heart of 3 H's coming up there, and the firefly, all looking back, except the firefly who's on top. The masculine P, who's you, yes you, fox, the twin flame with hugs and kisses, and all clammed up with their feelers out, and oi, staring up at the bee who's hovering. It's all in the eye of the dragon, the soul watching the whale or the ship go down, as the firefly breaks through the dark to give hope at the 11th hour, or at the very last minute. It's just that one little spark of light is all you need to help you go on. At 123 to 124, which is referencing this year into next year, of the King of Wands and then the Queen of Wands, and the 4th quarter. The mouse, the stingray, and the hawk right here, where the mouse hides with sweet energy, watching the firefly light up, or the light turned on. The ray and the sting that activates and turns on, plugged in to the hawk, who then clears the way, the darkness, just by flying, what he or she naturally does. The mouse of the child learning how things work, inspired to learn after cooped up with COVID perhaps, or taken for granted at 126, right? The leap of the child, the Page of Wands, and perhaps a new seed is planted, whether it's a child or a plant that you planted, or a new puppy or pet. The energies at the end here of the owl, the nightingale, and the eagle. All 3 are birds. The owl, they're all very different. The owl, who's very still and wise, and then the small, sweet nightingale with the song, and the large and active eagle diving and rising, each with a talent all to their own to contribute. The owl at night in gale, after night in jail, where the mouse that flies is actually a bat, and the mouse sees and wants to grow wings and be a bird like them. I'm not a mouse, I'm a bird. If only I could fly. I know that's my real family inside. So at 131 is the underlying energy of the Queen of Swords, who speaks to or about travel, or a move, or ascension and magic. All tools on board, or cards on the table, and satisfied as the wizard opens the curtain to reveal their true selves. Sending in the troops, or the Queen of Swords running a tight ship, with Cancer, Gemini, or Virgo, and partnering up to inspire as the Page of Wands, the 6 of Cups, the sweetness around the world or the neighborhood, the Divine Feminine or Pisces, fire and water, as Page of Wands and Pisces, or Divine Feminine and Knight of Wands, come together here as soul ties of innocent love. The Sovereign and the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles, or that could be parents and child, or independent child from a very stable, abundant, or considered a good family, as the King of Pentacles may be suffering in silence, or with his sister, or stressed out and not sleeping, or feels for one who is, and getting free or setting them free as the Page of Swords steps up with the Page of Cups and does their part as the Knight of Cups offers love to the Queen of Wands who may be ignoring them. Maybe she's busy or watching with the Page of Pentacles and Knight of Pentacles, offering something practical to the wounded warrior who may have some sharp words for them. Maybe they have a spanking waiting for them or a paddy wagon to arrest them, or offering restitution in lieu of an arrest. Or Page of Pentacles and Knight of Pentacles are offering to help with the devil dogs or the guard dogs or the hounds of hell. At 143, which is the coming together in the leap of the High Priestess, the Hermit, and Lovers, after the devil, temptation, or Capricorn waves, The high priestess, or horsepower, seen by hermit, or sheds or holds light for or on them. The Page of Cups and Page of Swords, or Queen of Cups and King of Swords, right, them and their inner children. Lovers or two giving guidance, or perhaps a nun and a monk. Perhaps doing an exorcism, to go from the devil to divine lovers, requiring a good cleansing to be free from the dark. It only takes a speck of light, a glimmer of hope, to spread like wildfire. Mother and child, or father and child, or two mothering and fathering each other. The quiet lovers who light up and look in, after tempted by ball and chain, and needing to be willing to let go of their chains. I was just getting in to receive their gains. At 149 is the leap to getting your wish. With death and justice, the King of Wands, the Emperor, and the King of Cups, and the Two of Wands, the King of Swords, and the Empress, and the Queen of Cups, where the dark night dives right in to find justice and alignment. Scorpio and Libra, and transferring the justice system, as the King of Wands guards the Emperor, and the King of Cups receives offers, or makes choices, or is given an ultimatum by the King of Swords and the Empress over the Queen of Cups. Perhaps the Emperor and the Empress and their lawyers are in court, sharing their soft side, right? Wanting the judges to see their loving side as the King of Cups and Queen of Wands, as opposed to their power sides, for the judge to decipher here, as the Queen of Cups shines bright in the end. At 154, the leap to the Page of Swords, or again, the messenger, which can be Gemini or Virgo there as well. So I have one more message of the day to go, and then the message on the table, which will be a quick one. And before this message today, some of the scribing I did was bringing up magma and magna and all those kind of energies and maps. And also the poundage, the weight of the 8, the weight of the world, the weight of the dance when you're apart. And the sperm of the whale also came up, but without the rot. The energy of Magdalene also came up here. And on the left, so coming from the feminine side, was the binary paste, to eat or bottle. So again, the paste is the energy without the juice in it. So the juice has been drained out, and now you just have the paste to work with, like lava. The binary paste, to eat or bottle, to carry, bring, hold with great noble strength and power. The magician, the wise man, ripe for folding and opening or mapping. The pit, the seed, the core, the nucleus, the belly, the stomach, the field of Magda, or the belly dance, the tooth inside. And remember, the tooth is the dens, which is the spike on the axis that supports the atlas. The Magda or belly dance, the tooth inside, without normal saline, right? So with the juice drained out, without normal saline, or fruit without juice, the mass left in the intestines to digest, and gastritis. With Magdalena, where the lena is the turmeric, the breath, the force and energy, the vigor, the madam, the enticer, the wet and the moist, or the len, to negotiate one's way through a mass, to creep through, right? You need the water. The lazy river, or the wood, the flax or linen, the entailed estate, or perhaps with a story. The county, soft, smooth, the wool and yarn, where mag is the magnesium to protect and make slippery or smooth, and for me that's from gymnastics. The mother needs, as in kneading bread, she needs the father to carry, and between is the Na, to be strong together in the mag. They share the core, nucleus, belly, the field, the older sibling, or perhaps the wise one there. The right side here, masculine, was coming up with heartbreak. Free at 7 after the weight, as in W-E-I-G-H-T, and the weight of W-A-I-T, of the 8 dance apart. The sperm of the whale without the rot, which is coming up like the extra virgin squeeze, right? Or is it the second or third squeeze? I don't know here. But all that kind of energy was coming up here on the 14th before the 15th. And again, Magdalene's map and the belly dance, to get through and make soft, to smooth over, for the masculine's heart to break free, and sperm of whale, which is like, that choice sperm, right? Because the whale is the biggest one of the sea. And the natural logarithm was coming up there too. And with logarithm, I always get, the word and the rhythm, the song or the poem. The natural line, or walking down the lane. And floating 9 and 8 were coming up here together, as well as the N and the G. And then again, here's where the N's were coming at, the lens, the mens, the sens. Tens were then coming up here. Somebody might be wearing tens. So tens, teens, tense, taught, to have, possess, and tenere, which means to hold. To stretch, to draw, to hang out, and to hold something dear. To wish to is coming up with tens, or tense. All right, so this final one was from today, with the shaman dreams at the top, and then the next 3 decks you know already, because that's a common theme this week, right? Those 3 decks have been coming out with another deck above. So shaman dreams, and then the Lenormand, Reverie, Kipper, the wild unknown, and then the half deck of Lenormand. And again, I'll bring them up close so you can see the pictures better. Okay. And it's what, 146 it's going to be in a second. So this one today was 9:13 to 16, and today's energies are the 15 of the devil, and then the 25/7 of the Knight of Wands. And that could be trouble, right, with the Knight of Wands and the devil, because they can be very devilish, just as the Knight of Wands, especially if they're reversed. So 9:13 to 16 is the Death card, the Angel and the Devil, 14 and 15, and then the 16 of the Tower. So this Scorpio energy framing the Angel and the Devil, which is very deep and dramatic, right? It's very Pluto-y, right? Big and transformational and deep and dark. So this can be the Knight of Wands, who's really, facing their inner devil or inner demons. As the cards at the end were coming up as 2, 2, 3, 1, and then 3, 5, 6, 7. We're very interesting here. All right, so I did go into gematria for this one today. And for 2231, the first entry was New Year's Eve. So I was getting obviously it's not New Year's Eve, but it's coming up as New Year's for Eve, which is the divine feminine. Number 2 entry was the Mandela effect is a result of the sound of the trumpet. Number 3 was Werner von Braun, which I'm not sure who that is, but you can look it up if you want to. Again, Werner's Wernher, I think, and then von, and then Braun with an M on the end, Braum. The 4th entry was Begin of the New World, and the 6th one didn't look very interesting, and I didn't write it down, but the 6th one I wrote down because it was the number 207, which I never ended up looking up, but you can look up 207 if you'd like. There's also the 0, or space between the 2 of the High Priestess and the 7 of the Chariot, or the Gamma Ray, or the Boomerang, and the 2 is the Q. So the Queen and the Boomerang, which is like the masculine, right? He's the Boomerang and she's the Queen, and the space between. And then the 7th entry was You Are a Wizard. Number 8 was Did God Really Put the Holy Spirit into Flesh? And number 9 was Sweet Baby James. So then I looked up 3, 5, 6, 7, and this was interesting. The number 1 entry is all that I wrote down. Was I don't know how to pronounce it correctly, but it's Pauperia ibis. It's a very papal kind of energy, but it's obvious has to do with paupers. And then Transibimer, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but I looked up each word. And then Duarivigenti, and then Veniendos. So when I looked them up, it's the range of paupers to exceed or pass over the energy of 2 from 20, which is 18, which again, 18 is that energy of life essence, which is to come, which is also the purple moon or 0 point. And I was getting this coming of age energy. And the fourth entry, when I looked that up, was the Holy See. So, of course, I had to look in the Vatican.va to see what was coming up under this. And it wasn't all 4 words. And it was Benedictus PP XV1. So I don't know who's number 16. But it was all in Italian, I guess. But I could decipher that they were like giving some kind of schedule. And it looked like something about leprosy. But I wasn't sure until I looked everything up, and it was. But there was different months. So first October and April came up, but they did list February too. So they're listing some kind of schedule or some kind of celebration. And I didn't look up the whole thing. But Constantinique Studio Opus Prodaxite came up. And also the name I looked up, and that had to do with leprosy quarantine in Hawaii. So it's very interesting that came up, because leprosy had come up for me in the beginning of my journey. And now here I am with the first cold in 7 years. So I looked up the name, and it was Leprosari Molokai Dolores. So again, it's a Hawaiian island where the lepers were isolated behind like a huge mountain. And it said Havaiana Magna, and Magna came up with my scribing, in Insula Pacific Ocean, obviously. So the title that came up was from October 28th, 22. So it's an article that was just written at 5:09. Siblings forged unbreakable bond after leprosy, which is also called now Hansen's disease. It's about them being tore apart their family. And what came up out of leprosy was, and this was from the Holy See document, was leper is a C, right? As opposed to the Holy See. The leper AC. Very important there. At 9:45, the hermit and the 45 of grieving, right? So a leper is chronically grieving for how many years if they live, right? So as I went into this message at 9:46, which is the children coming together in love, which then was this article about 2 children telling us about their situation with leprosy. The deep diver came up first, number 10, and then the 18 of the child. So here's the 10 and the 18 again, of representing the 10 and the 8 and the 18 ultimately of the high energy. And then the 8 of not August, but of October, the October. And then the octopus came up. The opus word came up in that document from the Vatican. And October and the 2 from 20, which equals 18. So not listing it as number 18, but 2 taken from 20 in October. And 20 is that wake-up call, that final judgment. And 2 taken out of judgment. There we go. Which is the 0-point field. So America's largest leprosy colony was Molokai, Hawaiian Island, and it was called Kalaupapa, or Kalaupapa, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. 8,000 were quarantined there at the bottom of a huge mountain where there was nothing and nobody can go there. This was an interview with Linda and half-sibling Doug, said that their dad was sick for 6 years there and got married and actually got cured. And while they were there, they actually ended up having a sister that was adopted or given away because the mother had leprosy at the time, so she was separated at birth. Well, Linda, the one being interviewed, was that child. It took 55 years for her to find her half-brother Doug. 9 former patients remain at this place, all in their 80s and 90s now, and this article's from 22, and they still call it home. So again, it's all in your perspective and how you see it, as a prison or as a place that keeps you safe. And here are 2 half-siblings coming together after all that time. And again, that you do get cured from leprosy, right? So the father, was it the father or mother? I'm not sure if her mother survived. I think it said her dad survived. But he had gotten married and had another child, so came home and said, you have to have a half child, but we had to give the baby away because your mom was sick. Or the mom was sick. It's not their mom. So definitely leprosy is coming up here. At 9:56 is the Hermit. And oh, I was just getting I'm blanking out now. The hotel in Philadelphia that got closed down. Legionnaire's disease. That's what I was getting. I actually had dinner there with my dad for my 16th birthday. It was beautiful. They brought this beautiful cart out, and they carved, at the time I wasn't vegetarian, but, I was 16 years old. They had this big roast beef on a platter and served us very royally. And it was very special for me because my father wasn't someone who would, take me out places. That wasn't his thing, right? He was a very busy guy. But Legionnaire's disease is also coming up with leprosy. So 9:56 is the Hermit and the Two of Swords. The underlying energy of the Deep Diver with the 10 and the 18 of the Child. The Moth and the Empress then. Destined to dive deep into childhood or the inner child, or the moon child, the romantic child, with the mother who's the moth to the flame, right? They can't stay away from their child. Diving deep into the mother-daughter relationship, where the daughter comes first because the mother can't resist. At 10:02, which is destiny of the two, or now 2 zeros of space between the masculine and the feminine, and the underlying energy of the horseman, the 30 and the 23 of Fortune's Wheel, and the 57 of the Unmarked Trail, the 45 of Repairing the Veil, and the 10 of the Deep Diver. So home as the King of Wands in separation, and grieving destined to high vibe dive. Heralding of changes with luck and right timing, the Knight of Wands with the greasy wheel, or is that the greased plate, as in church, with military wings at the center. The pilot to light, as opposed to angelic wings to light you up, right? You're lighting up the pilot instead of the angelic wings lighting you up. The sun as if dried up here, with straw rays and dwindling light in the labyrinth then of compression and screws. Fast forward to Utah, or UT, of C, the note C, and like do, re, mi, do. Like because a flower, sleep out or get out, outside, outdoors, in order to get to the surface. Ut, so Utah's coming up as that ut energy, and then finally found a way out, and they just dung. That was a confirmation. Hold on, I just have to tell her. Okay. Yeah, my daughter's flight was just delayed. Okay, so the deserter or the deserted. Desert either way. But when green with ivy or algae or moss, the pressure is on to twist and turn to become denser. Coal to diamond mine or mind. When all is dead, you hit the pilot light with green unmarked trail of revelations, of separation from self, in a maze of grace, amazing grace, to come back to the 45 and the purging, the sorrow, the grieving, to repair the veil, telling the tale top down this time, weaving the pages or the little ones back together, telling the story after the fact, tying a bow at the bottom or near the end so it can be easily untied again. The forgiveness that is the fragrance that the violet sheds on the heel that has crushed it. So can you smell those violets? By Mark Twain. The unmarked trail of Twain. The two U's in the tain. In attainment, perhaps. And the furthest tain is the furthest back, the most posterior. Tan and 10, the number 10. The ration, the mushroom, which is a fungus. And the ration is an unworthy share. The aluminum foil, the silvering. The thin tin plate, again the collection plate, or the tin foil used as a mirror. The poor man's Wendy. One is like the other, but it's not as good or talented. So what's the point of being like them? You should just be you. Fast forward, or FW was coming up here as two V's. The twin flame co-creation of UT. The Holy Grail and the top dog. A flower outside, the RV. Destined to be next to the water. To be able to, destined to be next to the water. To dive into the water to wake you up. Like a high vibe baptism, destiny. The pilot unlit is the coal between the screws top down, crushing the flower, the one who flows, the flower, to harden and densify them, to make them stiff, and steal their fragrance at the same time. Yet give a lift. Right, so I'm getting, what's it called? Right, where they steal the adrenaline. I'm just blanking out on the name. So dousing the coal to light the flame. But if willing to wait under the weight of the world for a very long time, you can come out a diamond in the center that finds its way to the surface like a splinter. Something that knows if no longer belongs or resonates with its environment, where they finally had enough, will naturally find a way out and a way into their true story of happily ever after, or close at least, at 1031, which is the destiny of the 31. Of again, that 31 is remembering to touch base with the 4 before leaping back to 1 again and starting over, connecting to source. So 1032 is that destiny of the journey of brown, green, and pastels and deep blue. The brown of the desert on fire, the green life of earth, the pretty skies of pastel, and the deep blue seas, of course. 2023, where 2 is less than 20, can be 0, you know, in the wake-up of the King of Wands to the 3 of Mother Nature, calling to know her deep blue sea, the blue Madonna, her whales who wail, and moans or monas, her depth, width, and height of dimension, where dimension is diamond's connection or two divided people connection. The words that came up here were F-U-R-D, so F-U path, the road, of Ferd, F-U-R-D, which equals an army or host, a troop, band, or company, the journey, voyage, or travel, perhaps a caravan, the fear, the ferry across, the leaning, the crooked, the inclined, sideways, perverted, awkward, or in other words, distorted, of the Ferda, which is also scrap, and then Ferd with 2 A's after it is thick without archangels, one who must go farther and dive deeper, to clear more by seeing it all, allowing and surrendering to it all. At 1042 of the destiny of the 2 of Cups, the first card here of the 62 of the Will-o'-the-Wisp, that you can't breathe underwater, but does that stop you from going there to see how long you can hold your breath? What it's like to come up for air when you can't hold it any longer? The will of the human condition, seeing if you can lean into something without falling over completely, or allowing yourself to fall completely and then rise, knowing both sides of the story. The 55 of the farther gate, the 20 and back, the feast of plenty, the bold step forward, choices and their consequences. If you dare to share your stone, 2 swords, or S words for S stone, 2 curves in the letter S or Sophia, so outside the lines as a human connecting with all that is. 2 swords or S words in Sophia's tone of 2 to 1 is the harmonization that creates a third, the sound of togetherness, or 2 gather nesses, or NESs, or sine waves. The 2 plus 1 cards after that at 1050, destined to that ultimate happiness of the 10 of Cups, the 39 and the 5 of the me talks and closing the door, repairing and completion. The point of repair is to fix and then be done, like not to keep fixing and fixing and fixing. Imprison and release, diving in and coming up for air, breaking into the cave and going farther. Through the double gates, the airlock or cock block is coming up. The locked communication and the blocked passions, where blocked is be locked, and locked equals lock ED, which is in the past, shutting out Mr. Ed, but to lock brings 2 into the equation, and don't even start with Lockheed, Bethesda, Maryland, where Bethesda is the house of S and Dad, in Maryland, which is the oceany land, after lockdown, oversharing or eating too much, judgment, decision, and wake-up call to detox, as the Knight of Cups, free to close the door, to leave that chapter behind with 9, dances on 1 foot, leaning in to make sure the door is shut in a balancing act of the moth resisting temptation to go back at 1101, which is alignment with justice, truth and balance, and the 1 of the leap, the masculine, the magician. And this was at 1103 now, but 1106 to 7 is when Teddy woofed at the door to come in. So we just talked about shutting the door, because they have to teach, you have to teach the other one to ask you to open the door back up before you do. 1103 is that alignment of justice and the Empress, the underlying energy of the 9 of the Queen of Swords with flowers and gifts. The Queen of Swords Hermit with flower gifts and a message of the 7 of the Chariot or the boomerang coming around again. Or the Cancer 42 of the Lambda Leap to the Queen. And also learning from each other, right? One's outer personality or destiny being maybe another person's life lesson or power. Flowers and note, or in other words, tone, in the compass home, the key to one-to-one connection in the dance of north and south, or masked tango between the man and the woman, or perhaps false persons here, covering up. The calm before the storm and the direction or movement between that shifted things. From message to dance or change in time zones. From message to in person. Number 33. It was funny because right at that moment I put a cushion back for leaning support. So the 33 is the key to release from the cage. From the 7 to the 8. And the 7 is the calm before the storm, where the 8 is the storm. From 8 of Swords to the 8 of Pentacles. The key to Christ's vibration here of the 33 is to break your chains of martyrdom and to align with work that you love. Receiving a gift, number 17, a dream come true, of a home perhaps, or gifted a home, or maybe the psycho lot. That couples come together in love, but also share expenses to lessen the burden. A message to tangle with before release, like orgasm, tangling with before release. The quantum entanglement, which is the intention of the tangle, or intersection of quantum direction. In great confusion comes great illumination. The great reset, like waking up the next day or after a good cry. The elum is not illuminated with an I, it's illuminated. ELLIUM, which means to become pure, clean, holy, and sacred, free and noble, and sesame oil. Or sesame place, where LLUM means today, light, mud, and lamp. And Elena's connection always says that mud is a great way to practice connecting to powering up a light bulb, to hold a light bulb while you sit in the mud, because it helps you connect with the other side. So ECCE, illum, came up, ILLUM. And ECCE means behold, see, look, there, hither. And ELUM is top, upper side, as opposed to the bottom. The tongue, on, over, upper, tall, high, exalted, proud, ascend, move up, to come up, arrive, to be the result. Not illuminate, but illuminate. Not ill, but L. She, the bell. Of the ball, the sphere. What rings as freedom does. The gift of the house or prison is all the same. It's all in the perspective, the view. The protection or block to the outside. Is Merlin protection to the enemy? Or is it Rapunzel in the tower? The twin towers coming down all the way versus Leaning Tower of Pisa, suspended animation coming down oh so slowly, may be much more painful in the end. Maria Sophia, say it's soft and it's almost like praying. It's the Ia, which Elena Denon says is Enki's actual name, because Enki was a title, not his name. So she calls him Ia. And that's what's coming up right here, which also is E and A, emotional attachments, which can also represent Eve before Adam. So Maria Sophia, say it's soft, it's almost like praying. The Ia, breaking and entering, or Enlil and Enkiing. The house of Anu and the house of Aquarius, here to free Jesus from his post on the cross, and brought over for dinner instead, the homestead. Perhaps a house of judgment and decision or wake up to take action. And notice that in action is acting connection. A public burden, being representative, or whatever the house is it a gift or a burden? At 11:38, aligning with the Queen of Cups, and then 11:39, aligning with the Knight of Cups. The dream or planned with map of intent, to bring the good news to end the war. And remember that Teddy woofed to come in the door. The burden of reputation at 11:39, of being a good example and held to a higher standard. The 1 of the main male and the 4 of the house of the King of Cups, finding an emotional house instead to be the ever-loving man. A higher love of the public service or Garden of Eden, exposing your house so all can see in and watch the flowers grow or glow, with statues of angels and fountains of glory, or release from prison, anxiety, entrapment of work in order to retire to home and garden, or a bed and breakfast, a place of celebrations, of the Knight of Cups community, perhaps cheers without the alcohol, or a wedding hall, wanting to celebrate someone's happiness all year long. One big long celebration, or the Garden of Eden at 11:45, which happens to be my birth time, so that's referencing the birth of the Divine Feminine, with 1, 4, and 20, which is the leap to the lambda leap, to the judgment call, right, the wake-up call. 1 for 20. It literally says, where the 1-4 is also the temperance card of the angels and that higher love. Reaching to that final call. And the 39 for 3. 39 is the Knight of Cups for 3. A home of awakening to the Knight of Cups being love in the Emperor's courtship or simple life with the Empress, or abundant travel or ship out of water, or houseboat at the dock, or by the mountain or on the mountain, stuck on a rock, Plymouth Rock, marking the end of pain or bliss of abundant cruise, or all the fun that was had on the way. A story ending on the way to Lucy the elephant, to the tower or powers that be of protection or imprisonment, you see. The 19 of the sun and how it grows when the mother comes home to roost, as the 39 Knight of Cups with the Emperor and the Empress, or 43 coming together in joy, to the 19 and the 18 of the sun and the moon, the father, mother, the son and the daughter, or taking the daughter to college, or to their new digs, or to the hospital for delivery at 11:53 of justice alignment of the Knight of Swords, messenger of truth, or knight in shining armor, or deciding between being alone as the as the prideful son, and I was getting the prodigal son as well, or with family married with son and daughter, or bringing two homes together. From 9 to 18 is in this underlying energy, which is then my birthday, going from the time of the feminine's birth to the date of the feminine's birth, or the Queen of Swords to her child or inner child. On March 18th to the 19th are numbers of significance here. 319 was really coming up there. The first card out here of the 27 of the Knight of the Seven of Swords, the risky, inspiring letter, creative writing, or sealed document opened here, or DocuSign, or assignment. With 8 and 15 in the dance of sovereignty and dependence, of life and death, of doctor and patient, of mortician and entombment. The dance of the lovers and their shadow, each other. The dance of the devil, where the devil made me do it. And do it is action, right? It's the act, the performance. The 18 is the child with papers in dramatic role as lovers do. The rock cracked open, which is not an easy thing to do, with a double-gated community in the strength of the shadow of Leo and Capricorn, which are very father figures here, right? Leo more playful than Capricorn, and the romantic child. And that could be two fathers with a child. At 12:03 is the Hanging Man and the 3 of the Empress. Where perhaps a two-man couple is also really looking forward to their mother coming to visit, right? They could use a feminine touch there of the mother. The Queen of Cups destined to cross twin bridges and separate the wheat from the chaff in order to discern with the Page of Pentacles, the student, the invitation or opportunity to learn, to do something new. And again, the key word being do, which is act. But remember, act is a performance, right? It's pretend. 13 and 32 come up here of the wealthy man in transition to journey of romance, leaving the old emotions behind. The 23 of the King of Wands, or McDreamy, or in court with the English patient, or the Queen of Cups and the King of Wands finding their way to City Hall. And those two have been coming together a lot, the King of Wands and the Queen of Cups, which can be the twins. At 12:07 to 12:08 is Cancer, Leo, Capricorn, Libra, Scorpio, water and fire energies here, inspired to shadow dance in the underlying energy as the elephant clears with each bold step, with flame in their trunk and red eye perhaps. The butterfly transforms, learning its wings. As the wind blows, the whale sinks, exhausted on a raft, needing a lifeline to pull them in or out, or waiting for child to be saved from being stranded on a rock at low tide. The vulture waits to clean up, while all are watching the elephant coming. Again, the elephants are coming, tattered and torn to get to the whale, with butterfly between them transforming before their eyes. Or is that a bee becoming a butterfly? And how is that? In the elephant whale trap, growing wings never seen before, a levitation of sorts before aborting their mission, with vulture, fox, and peacock to eyewitness 3 totally different types of beings to cover the differing groups, the land elephant to the sea whale, where the Ellie pants and the whale wails, calling to each other while clearing the land and the sea, step by step bring land to sea, as all watch the moth to flame, 2 who cannot stay away from each other, like mother and child. At 12:17 of the Hanging Man and dreams coming true, L butterfly, WVU, fox and pico, or is that the Peace Corps? And the MO to the nth degree, with PCPP certificate for the Peace Corps there, and WVU is coming up as West Virginia U. But again, the Peace Corps was coming up there as well, but Fox and Pico keep coming up as well. At 12:26 is the Hanging Man and the Page of Wands, the Firefly, Snake, and the Bear, And as the bear came up, Teddy looked exactly like the bear in the bear picture, looking for something to do. The moth to the flame, as flame is bright but fleeting, as the snake comes full circle in the collective awakening, and the bear slowly awakens from their slumber. Mother inspired by child or daughter to come out of hibernation, attracted to their light. The wolf, the dragon, the dolphin, the scorpion, the otter, and the gazelle here. Where the bear is slow to get started, the wolf is bored or dazed and confused, with higher self wanting to be the dolphin, or awaiting their arrival, the wolf with knowing to keep their eye on them to make them happy. As the scorpion stings, ready to pounce on the curious otter, the dolphin may be surprising the otter, and then all is well, with graceful gazelle who's calm with a glimmer of hope, a small inspiration to keep them going just a little bit longer, a child or pet who inspires their elder also to get going. At 12:35, the hanging man and the wounded warrior. The underlying energy of the Queen of Pentacles, Virgo perhaps here, the Knight of Cups and the Page of Cups with the Knight of Wands coming in, or Queen of Pentacles offers love to the Page of Cups as the Knight of Wands runs in with a choice from the Hermit showing them their options. Two sides of Virgo here, offering love directly or offering to play to teach them self-love as an advisor instead. Or this is a mother and grand with multiple kids or pets, as Teddy was just whining. And the Queen of Wands with the Page of Pentacles and the King of Swords, or extending an invite or small token to the King of Swords to make them happy at 12:40, right, to keep them going. At 12:42, the Two of Cups, to come to full circle, to see Pisces, Divine Feminine, or walk around the neighborhood, with justice for the King of Wands, Pisces and Libra, or in court with the King of Wands and the Queen of Cups. As the Queen of Swords speaks of freedom from the Emperor's control, or is the Emperor actually inspiring the Fool and the Page of Wands with what ifs? And the Page of Wands with the Six of Cups with memories of a sovereign catch, or loving memories of a soulmate and inspired, and the Knight of Swords to sweep them off their feet. As the King of Pentacles who can't sleep, or wanting to help with sister, or suffering in silence, or pain in the ass could be right there too. As the Page of Swords steps up, or Empress sends a message to make the King of Pentacles feel better, who then races in as the Knight of Swords, or sends a delivery to the Nine of Pentacles sovereign catch, or soul tie or kids, inspiring the inner child of the Emperor himself, but again inspiring someone in that like pay it forward energy. How the Emperor indirectly helps the Emperor even when they're far apart. And again, there's that 6th degree of separation there. At 12:49, as Teddy shakes it off, hanging out to get their way, the first card here is where the Devil waves. And Teddy was staring me down at that moment, reminding me that I was supposed to take him for a walk, which we did. But waving at the Empress after fleeting inspiration, the King of Cups and the Knight of Pentacles, as the King of Cups comes in to get the Knight of Pentacles moving forward to the High Priestess, and then the Dark Knight, or Pisces and Scorpio, or Mother's Shadow Father, or waves to get them to move toward his children, or the King of Cups moving closer to the High Priestess, as Dark Knight faces the wounded warrior who's on guard, as lovers do. The lovers and the Two of Cups together here, in one-to-one, ascend to Magician embodiment. The High Priestess and Dark Knight come in face defensive lover to connect one-to-one, and move or ascend to magic. Pisces, Scorpio, Sag, Gemini or Twin, Cancer and Gemini or Virgo, or Mercurial alchemist here, with all tools on board. All aboard! And that was that read. So now we go back to the read on the table as it's 2/23 as we turn to 24. So going from the year of 23 to 24 already, and giving us messages regarding that. And then here is the message on the table for you. And I'm almost done, Teddy. When he can't take it anymore, he starts doing things. He's really funny. All right, so let's see here. So here's the original underlying energy of the read on the table. There's a SIRIAN Starseed deck. And then the final read with all of the clarifiers is here. All right, so this one was done on the 12th. And it was cut at 5:18, which is the Hierophant and the Moon. What am I getting? Getting something about the 12th. So I'm getting that the full moon was on the 7th. So really the powers of the full moon were extending into the 12th of March. So they're telling you that this read is reflecting the full moon as well. So I finished clarifying at 5:32 to 33, which is the journey and the Christ vibration. And that can be martyrdom as well. But the freedom from that, right? The freedom in taking the journey through it to get to the other side. We have the major arcana here of reason, which is the emperor, transition of death, tower, the tower. And before the read is strength, alchemy, which is the temperance card, and then solar deity, which is the sun. And then after the read was reflection of the hermit and the indigo of the magician. There were 4 pentacles, 2 cups, 1 sword, and 1 wand, with the 42 of the 2 of cups and the 11 of justice. The 1-to-1 energy is coming up repeatedly here, and then the alignment of that 1-to-1. So again, the 1-to-1 without the dash between, because the 42 is the 1-to-1 and the 11 is aligned next to each other. The only court cards in this read were the Queen of Pentacles. We did have the 9 of Wands. The Wounded Warrior is here in the blocks. And then afterward, we have the 9 of Pentacles. As far as the numbers, we had double 3s, 4s, 8s, 9s, and 10s. The 3s were actually the least significant of all the double numbers. So the 44, 88, 99, and 1010 were all really significant here, having to do with the twin dance, compassion, and that high vibe, keeping it high, and her harvest of the 44, which is that Hercules energy, and also learning how to receive love, grounding, integrating, and mastering that. And then the code line here is all about change, and the number 29, coming from 8, 10, 6, and 5. 29 is 3 of Wands. It can be waiting for your ship to come in, but in this card for me, and for the twins, it's really about being present in the moment, your gifts, and the now moment. Where the messages from the code line here were about the key bridge of the 8, right? The dance of the 8. The wise high vibe T, or top dogs of the twins, as they come together, make the 8 between them, right? Where the hourglass is the part that's shared, and the outer part, or the half moon part on either side of the 8, is the independent parts of each other. So they still have their individuality, but yet they have a shared part as well. The top dogs and the lovers reflect the inner war of the 5 of Swords and the hour of crystals, the Christ-like self and the change. The T of that, the T, like I described before, of the toy where the top flies off and then comes back in. The top dog key, which also can be the human temperature or the time out. The key of the gate 8 of the wise old queen, who's clear. Destined top dog lovers reflect the inner war of the divine masculine's heart in the bat cave, and the delta there, the change. To mold or shape a strong queen, and there's that, the queen of the hive, clear and destined in intention, with a time out, with their lover reflecting. Not getting the hive in a negative way here, though. It's coming up as the queen, the queens of the collective, right? That quantum field. as the twin flames, for the twin flames, as the queens awaken basically to their destiny. The time out with lover reflecting with the twin. And the energy of the T again, of the gate and the bridge, of the 8 and the 10, which is 18, and the wise one between. The T, there's 2 T's, so it's like bookend of T's. Molding the strong green tent. Excuse me. For lovers to reflect inner fears in the hour of being Christ-like, of being crystal clear about change, about the triangle, to trying new angles, the gamma ray of balanced boomerang effect, to bridge in the dance and clear destiny for time out with lover, the half moon, post-war of the full moon, in the hour of sparkle, to try changing angles, or an angel. So this starts at the 8 of Pentacles reversed, and beneath the 8 of Pentacles, so we have the 8 of Pentacles reversed is the big card on top here, with the mini cards on top. And below that 8 of Pentacles reversed is the 2 of Cups reversed, and then the Strength card upright, the 10 of Wands reversed, Alchemy upright, Solar Deity upright, and then the 8 of Cups reversed on top. So in the disconnect or distance of the breakup, the strong birthing through the ring of fire, and I wrote the ring of ring for some reason. And again, the 2 rings coming together like I showed Saturn. Doesn't mean it's a planet with a ring around it, but there's 2 alternating rings. In the breakthrough to go back downstairs with patience, or to see angel, sunshine, or Saggy and Leo upright, uncomfortable with emotions and overworking or not working out. An energetic exchange, overwhelming, or powerless to the Divine Feminine's heart, or wanting the 9 of Pentacles sovereign worth, but only has 7, still working on it. The 10 of Cups upright is the rainbow bridge of the family happiness with the King of Swords and the Queen of Cups reversed for dreams to come true here, where the Queen of Cups and her iciness is melting, or the pond that was frozen, or leaking, or frozen beneath. With Leo and Saggy upright here, uncomfortable with expression, or uncomfortable with expressing practicalities, and the other may be uncomfortable expressing emotions, as the happy family or ending with the King of Swords, perhaps Aquarius, and the Queen of Cups reversed, dreaming or healing, or looking at the stars, or wishing upon one. With the 5 of Change and physical activity, 67 of the Knight of Pentacles, where the Knight of Pentacles is reversed, perhaps Taurus, being stubborn in the changes. With the recent past being the Divine Feminine's heart in the E-Tower, or Merlin. And then the recent past, with this energy here, again, the Merlin is the E-Tower, which also is the COP, one of the definitions of COP is the Merlin. So the Divine Feminine's heart in the E-Tower, or the Merlin, reaping rewards with the venom head, orb, crown, or the dome or armor, heavily protected, as the King of Wands is ending the war within, with the Empress and the Queen of Pentacles, who's reversed, not working or overworking, daydreaming or powerless, mother and daughter, a wake-up call to the 10 of Pentacles reversed and the Knight of Pentacles reversed, with dysfunctional view on money, or being doted on, and yet feeling lack, looking back or living in the past, trying to end the sister or suffering in silence, or sleeplessness or stress, by working or co-creating. With the 8 of Pentacles reversed, and then the 7 of Pentacles upright and the 10 of Pentacles reversed, but the Empress is upright with the 7 of Pentacles, which is the Divine Feminine's heart and abundance. So it's 7:30 of the Chariot and the home, or the union, putting out 9 of Pentacles, but only getting back 7. So pull back on your amount of investment. Working on PTSD between the King of Wands and the Empress, with the Queen of Pentacles reversed and the 7 of Pentacles may be comfortable, But the Eight of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles, and Ten of Pentacles are all reversed here, and you may not be comfortable with that much abundance. So you spend back to Seven again so you can stay there and be comfortable. Not everyone has the same needs. The Queen of Pentacles reversed may be calling the Ten of Pentacles reversed and the Nine of Pentacles reversed, or announcing to them, or a wake-up call to go to work or create something. And again, this could be a couple who don't agree on how much they need to be happy. Right? It could be a wife pushing the husband to go back to work because they're not making enough money, but he wants to retire and relax and enjoy the rest of his life. So after working hard to make dreams come true, allowing the changes to be the culmination of all that is. The foundation of the Queen of Pentacles reversed, next to the Eight of Pentacles reversed, seeing synchronicities and options and dreams to get to the truth, to expand on it and gain clarity, to make a decision and speak it into being, for bliss, to end pain once and for all, but can throw you off balance, ungrounding you. Too much work or information or spending may be overwhelming, creates fear in a dream coming true, right? So the fear of too much to do. The center energy of the Six of Cups and the love of children, of soul ties, of inner children's innocence after the King of Cups reversed and the Queen of Swords upright, with the King of Cups reversed at the workplace, with conditions of fear or speaking in front of people. Or the King of Cups reversed may be hiding behind the Queen of Swords, who loves to talk, or the Queen of Swords detaching from her emotions to speak her truth. The past of her she had to put aside at work to be considered professional or like everyone else. The difference between confessional and professional. To admit wrongdoing or keep feelings to self. To profess only knowledge, where fessions is to spank, buttock, or to whack. Either way, it's a punishment, isn't it? So confessional and professional, a negative whack or a positive whack or spanking. Either is still a punishment, whether you have something bad or good to confess or profess, you're still fessing up. Whether at church or work, you are behaving according to someone else's rules. To restrain, contain, or hold back or withhold, to receive, acquire, to reach, keep, or to surround. To act as society would tell you is correct, as opposed to your own knowing to be free to be who you are at 752, the Chariot and the Queen of Swords. Conceit or sharing humorous moments. Or humbling, or this could be conceit or shaming, humbling moments. Smart or an ass being judged either way. Admission of guilt or proclamation of knowing above others. The challenge being the Five of Swords reversed after the war, the grounding, integrating, and mastering, the PTSD and looting, the stress and stealing or grasping for answers outside of self as opposed to going within. The Emperor reversed may be retiring or fell down, or dumping a load to relieve self from their burdens and responsibilities, but feeling like a failure or under the radar needing attention. Wanting success so that others will see you as worthy, or the Emperor reversed fell off the wagon playing hardball or saving or doing overtime to feed their ego, or not working out and awakening now at 759. The Chariot or boomerang and the inner war. At 801, the dance to the one of the leap, or the masculine and the magician, where the Emperor's reversed, lacking faith and embarrassed, in front of the Three of Cups, perhaps a group of friends or family, and healing, or forgiving and over it already. This could be the Emperor where he's embarrassed, but the others don't even care already. The High Priestess may be upright, knowing and keeping to themselves, dissatisfied starting over, or being strong, or taking care of a pet, a Leo, a child, or ego, and Justice or Libra, or strongly judged as unstable, moving, visiting, or the party's just over, it's kaput, or lost the house and car in divorce in pursuit of happiness as lovers are out in the cold. The Divine Masculine with the Four of Pentacles, which can be the Divine Masculine's heart in the Batcave, may be holding on or being practical and saving, while a magician manifests, or laying all of their cards on the table. So soon in transition, where transition's reversed here, after the Knight of Wands went back, after the sudden event or constant drama in the never-ending story with lover, twin, or Gemini, or transition after a death or ending, the Knight of Cups is upright, offering love to the devil, to temptation or Capricorn, divorced, or with Taurus in their chart, or outside the box, or just being spiritual. Or Gemini with Scorpio reversed, being nice to get Capricorn to give a divorce. Twin flames are seeing themselves as the Ten of Cups upright, emotionally fulfilled with family or happy ending, at the new moon, or up early with kids, or to connect one-to-one with their soul tie or soul mate. The twin flame offering a choice of path after investigating them first, or the Page of Wands reversed getting caught and feels badly but uncomfortable dealing with their emotions, of the Page of Pentacles. Finding a happy ending after deceiving the other, perhaps passion offered but the Page of Wands reversed doesn't know what to do with it, or is frustrated or all over the place when in their emotions, of the Page of Pentacles who's curious about the innocent connection. Someone cheating or stealing or getting away with something, or the quote-unquote bad boy stigma around the twins, or how they're seen as the Tower reversed, and the sham fam perhaps, that is drama filled, with the Page of Swords reversed, with bad news or no news, about the Two of Cups reversed and the Queen of Wands upright, moving to peaceful waters here, after a sudden event or just lots of drama, or Scorpio freaking out, challenged by the block of the Nine of Wands reversed, or the surrender, the giving up, after going crazy to come out with the Page of Cups, or a loving message from the King of Pentacles reversed, or puppy love or a child between them, or the Page of Cups has them both wrapped around their little finger at 8:20, the dance of the wake-up call, or the judgment or decision. The Four of Pentacles, Divine Masculine's heart in the Batcave, coming full circle, or with Divine Feminine or Pisces, or the world at large or neighborhood, unable to sleep and rising above, or awakening and coming out. As the Knight of Swords rushes in from the daily grind, sharing and being charitable, or settling out, with the Wounded Warrior reverse surrendering to the destiny, or Libra released with kids on vacation, or exposing all and standing their ground. With the Hermit reversed at work, making magic to come in off the island to self, to propose to the Nine of Pentacles reversed, or a dependent, or one who is feeling powerless, to start over and come together, with new passion being offered to patient or angel, or for a higher love. Overwhelmed Queen of Pentacles reversed with the Ten of Cups upright, family or happy ending, after the sudden event at the E-Tower upright with the Six of Cups upright, and challenged by post-war PTSD after death or dark night and Wounded Warriors surrender. The Emperor reversed may be retiring or giving up, or retreating to the cave to hermit at work, and propose to start over with the Nine of Pentacles reversed, powerless to come together in joy with their flame. And the glory came up there. With Eight of Cups reversed, Eight of Pentacles reversed, and the Seven of Pentacles upright, two crazy eights, and the Divine Feminine with the key, the Queen of Pentacles reversed with the Six of Cups upright, and the Emperor reversed, challenged by post-war or refusing to grow up, challenged by the juggling act of saving two for later, but is never ending, so the Wounded Warrior reversed surrenders to the Ten of Cups happy family to transition slowly, or avoiding big changes or sudden changes, and surrendering to the Divine Masculine's heart in the Batcave. The Hermit reversed at the Three of Pentacles workplace, or co-creating, to propose to start over with Sovereign reversed, or dependent, or one who's powerless or recently lost their money, their power, and their sovereignty, to come together in joy with flame, offered to patient angel or Sagittarius here. At 8:32, the dance of the journey. And there you go. And the top of the page, it says the glory. Okay, so where are we? 2:30. I'm just going to give you an energy deck card here, since I just gave you a whole lot. And like with the dice I'm looking at, the die I'm looking at right now is the like powering through with the Ram and the Taurus. You know, a lot of stubborn energy right there to power through into a new beginning with the Five of Change. It's like a ram, you know, literally a ram coming through to break something. And again, the river pushing through the land to break through the land. It's just bowling through, right? Without asking questions. They're just coming through to clear it all out. Like maybe someone had time to make changes or do something, and who hasn't is now, going to take the quick way out there by a storm getting in and coming in and taking it all. So here we go. 28, victory. There you go. And what I say at the top of the page, the glory. The 28 of the twin flames and peace and a choice of path at the Y in the road, the leap. Right? The leap to peace, joy, love. The quiet place. With the 36, you see how much alike the colors are there. The 36 of Atlas with a map of intent. The second chakra, Archangel Ariel, being creative. And this is like a co-creation card of the twins. Right? With a map of intent. Right? Where their maps come together as one. The bottom of the deck is the man holding a heart. Right? Here's the masculine in a purge. Right? So they're going through a purge or a grieving process after the temple path. The 10 is the hanging man, right? The Christ path, the awakening, seeing a new perspective. And again, we have the Garden of Prayer is Thomas Kincaid, but I'm getting the Garden of Gethsemane as well. So again, Easter is upon us, so that's why it's coming up. And the purge of the Christ energy as the masculine collective here. Right, so he's purging, right, while she has this creative victory of peace, right, and a map of intent. Right, feeling each other as well. And that can also be connecting with another, like your children, that kind of stuff as well. Finding peace or making peace with your twin. And a creative or sacred map of intent as he holds his heart. It's like the masculine now going into that purge energy, which has probably been for a while. Now feeling, right? Feeling that. And underneath the temple is Michael. So we have this energy and the underlying energy. So you go from the emperor and the supposed happy family, right? The bridging of the family, right? Even when you're far apart, it went through in the reads of how you actually get to each other. This also can represent a sham fam, right? Who looks all pretty on the outside but has a lot of drama on the inside. And there's that energy of Michael and the wounded warrior at the root chakra and the need to clear the way for a strong foundation between the emperor and the wounded warrior here. Right? Between the King of Cups comes up a lot with the emperor, right? As the family man, whereas the wounded warrior has to get the job done. And then hanging out to see a new perspective on the temple path and allow oneself to purge. Right, whereas before he wasn't allowed to. As the soldier, you're not allowed to purge. But allowing both sides, the King of Cups and the wounded warrior energies to come out here. And that's just the underlying energy. And then again, the piece of the feminine energy coming out here on top as victory. So you have the first and second chakra coming up there. So again, a lot of stuff coming up again from the root and the sacral chakra, like from top down. So it's this energy of starting at the root, climbing up to the top, and then coming back down and clearing again. That rising and diving until the whole system is clear. Okay? Okay, guys, I hope that was helpful for you. I know it was for me. And I'm surprised I don't feel that bad right now. I thought I was going to be more exhausted right now, but I'm not. I'm good. So remember your water. Drink plenty of fluids, especially if you're ill like this, to help pass it through quickly. And accept it. Like, don't fight it, but just accept it. Remember your water, your rest, your joy, your nature. Get out there and ground yourself if you need to. And just accept, each day as it comes. Being in the present moment, right? So just catching yourself when you fall and just bring yourself back to the center again. There's no need to judge yourself or others. Just allow it to come. You're always ready. You don't have to prepare. You just have to be present. If you're present in the moment, if you forget something, you'll be reminded. I promise you. If you stay present in the moment, I forget things all the time now. But I know I have faith that I'll be reminded because I know I will. So it's just all in your knowing. So remember to have faith and take that leap of faith. Right? the thing is discerning the difference between something that's not resonating with you and your fear of something. Okay, because that could be the same feeling. So are you getting anxious in your solar plexus because you're afraid to do something? Or are you getting anxious in your solar plexus because that doesn't resonate with you? And in the end, it is the same thing. We can't do that now because we're human, but you can't resonate with everyone on a one-to-one basis because you're not going to get along with everyone, right? They're not the same as you. You can be kind to them, but that doesn't mean you want to hang out with them every day, right? It doesn't mean you can't love them from afar, but you're not going to resonate with every human being right now. So there's still going to be a disparaging difference between those, even though they're ultimately the same thing. Because if you're not resonating with someone, that means you're not fully open in love with them. But we're not at that point yet as a collective, right? Because that's like, the human who accepts everyone who comes into them, who takes anyone into their home, anyone off the street, not having fear of anything. And that's not the general human condition. So we're not there yet, right? We're getting closer to that. So don't punish yourself for not being like this non-human being, because you're not. You're human. So don't punish yourself. Don't punish others. Just allow it all. It's the journey. It's the fun of seeing the difference in your journey, right? When you fall out of balance and when you're able to come back, to be able to laugh at yourself when you look back, right? It's the journey. So rise and be love, you guys. Love and rise. It's nice to see you guys, or not see you, but feel you. And rise and be love.